Good afternoon, everybody. Daniel is not feeling well at the moment, and he's going to join us shortly. But right now, it's me and Shannon,
Hello.
and we have Miss Kim and Mike in the audience with us. Everybody out there in chat. We usually don't come to you guys on a Tuesday afternoon, but Daniel missed a show yesterday. Dave had one we all watched, but we've Daniel and I are still trying to get back on schedule after spending the weekend together and talking nonstop for I think 36 hours. We slowed down long enough to sleep a little bit and got back up and kept talking. So if there's a conspiracy theory out there, we have been through it in the past 4 days. I know that Willie was probably tired of hearing us talk by the time Sunday come. So what's going on your side of the supernatural world, Shannon?
Oh, well, daily life out here has been pretty interesting because the town I live in, Ukaipa, is now on the map worldwide due to some infamous behavior. I don't know if any of you guys have heard, but you might have heard by now. There was a woman she actually lives in Cabazon with her husband and children, but came out here for some kind of football game for her stepson. He apparently needed a mouth guard, so she went to Big Five Sporting Goods here in town, which, just a side note, we are a one boulevard town. It is not like we have a major city structure here. We are a one boulevard town, and pretty much all the businesses you see on that boulevard are extremely visible from the boulevard. So, that being said, she apparently finds that her baby needs a diaper changing because she's got her 7-month-old son with her, supposedly, and goes to change his diaper in the back of the truck, where somebody supposedly says "Hola" and then knocks her out, and then the baby disappears. People are discovering, there's a lot of sleuths out there on the internet these days,
Yep.
and everybody has just come together to be like, the stories aren't adding up. Something's not right. I mean, the lady even on an interview was saying there are no cameras or anything here in this parking lot. And I mean, that's just kind of weird in itself because there are cameras in other businesses that point to this area. But regardless, there are people who are saying she never had her baby with her to begin with at the park, all this stuff. It's obvious that these people are lying. The husband has been a convicted felon for child abuse, all of these things. It's just insane. And everyone around the world is obsessed now over this story in my little town. So
Well,
that's
we've
been
got a
interesting.
story. We've got a story here that's kind of done that, where the internet sleuths took off, and actually a podcaster has broken the case wide open over here, and now they are dismantling our local law enforcement because of dirty cops.
Yeah.
Because of a podcaster that found that a cop wrote on a piece of paper and turned it around so you couldn't see his from his body cam that said "act like a victim." And this was a road
What?
rage incident that he tried to turn around in self defense. He chased a man for 9 miles
Oh
and then
my
shot and killed him in
gosh.
the back and claimed self defense. Oh, yeah, girl. This
Mm-mm.
goes all the way to the top of the ladder around here. Solicitors, attorney generals.
Oh yeah.
If anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about the Weldon Boyd case in Scott Spivey. You can go look it up on the internet. It's infamous. Go look at the footage. I have nothing against cops. I have a family member who is one. There are good cops and there are bad cops, and there are
Yes.
dirty cops.
It is. I mean, LA, San Bernardino, Riverside County, all of these counties, we are very well aware of dirty cops. And again, yes, there are some really great ones. My brother in law is one of those. I totally see him as like a Dudley Do Right kind of cop guy.
Yeah,
You
that
know
would
what
be
I
mine.
mean?
That would be
But
mine.
and
Yeah.
he works really hard against the inside corruption. He knows a lot about it, and he's a good guy, but there are those who are part of these brotherhoods that are working in an internal plan that has nothing to do with.
Well, and I think this started a lot off of a situation of a guy who's got a little bit of money and owns a couple of restaurants, and rubs elbows with the right people. Um, he kind of called his buddy when he got in a bind that night. You expect your friends. First off, if you have a friend who's a cop and you expect them to do you a special favor, they're not doing their job right, and you're not allowing them to do it right. But
Right.
we will digress from there. Um,
But regardless, though, this whole situation, it's a 7-month-year old baby. And obviously, some foul play has happened with this child, and it's absolutely devastating. And the fact that these people would come out here to try and cover up whatever and just turn this little tiny town upside down. Which, again, if anybody saw this lady passed out or knocked out on the ground, most of the people here in this town are so awesome and just God fearing, and they would totally have gone to help her. It just, none of it makes sense. None of it whatsoever. It is a total lie. And how sad that this is the world we live in, that people are just, the child abuse stuff is just off the rails. And having it here in my little hometown, being so openly in public in the world stage, is just kind of, it's a little heartbreaking, not gonna lie.
all of it's heartbreaking. Sorry, I got grandbabies getting off the bus. I'm making sure everybody's making it to the house. And we're talking about with kids, you can't take your eyes off of them. Like I can see the bus stop from my house, but I watch these kids. I watch them walk all the way here. I mean, throw a tennis ball good and hard, I could probably hit one of them. They're that close. But I don't trust anybody. I've been to the
Oh,
Walmart parking lot alone, had a guy snatch my door open, been
it
carjacked.
right. It is a very big concern of the amount of children that are kidnapped or taken, or people for trafficking or whatever purposes. And the fact that these people have lied about this to that point, it is taking away from those people who have really been abducted, those children that are really missing, and they're making this into a complete farce. And it really angers me, because there are a lot of kids and teenage girls, young boys, who are being kidnapped and trafficked, and these people are using that for their own cover up, and it angers me. It just angers me. I can't help it.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the comments out there. They wanted to know, and what is the name of the town that this happened in, Shannon? So anybody that wants to go look it up now is interested can see it.
It's called Ukaipa. It's pronounced a little bit differently than what the title of like what it's spelled out to be, but it is a Native American name, so it's a little harder to pronounce if you're not familiar with how to pronounce it. But it's Ukaipa, San Bernardino County, Southern California. um yeah, that's where we're at.
Frank is asking if we know anything about the report of over 50 kids missing in Virginia.
Oh my gosh, that was another thing I was going to ask of you, because you're closer to Virginia than I am, for sure. I have some family members out there, but there's this huge thing where there are ice cream trucks that are just all over the place at weird hours of the night, school nights, just sitting there parked outside of people's houses for hours for no reason, or like following people. But it's become a big huge news headline, to where people are like, why the heck is there an ice cream truck outside my house right now? It's like 10:30 at night, and they're not leaving, and they're blaring their music, and it's just really bizarre. There are a ton of stories out there about this.
Well, and we never know what's propaganda anymore. 4 days ago, social media post about 50 kids missing in Virginia accurately report a spike in the number of minors who were missing in early August. No, it's not true.
See,
Um,
I believe that it is true because this Virginia is, isn't that where Washington DC resides, excuse me, as I'm struggling to talk. Um the amount of children all over the world that get taken and abducted or are missing every year is absolutely astounding as it is. But it would make sense for that amount of children to be missing around the area that houses Washington, D.C., because we know that most of these guys are shady pedos, you know, and do weird ritual stuff.
yeah, shady pedos is an
Hmm.
understatement.
Understatement of the
When we were
year.
talking about your case a while ago, you were talking about, there's no cameras in the parking lot. I ran
And how do
across
they
the,
know that?
well, let me tell you.
How do they knew that? I can talk. Sorry.
I ran across the TikTok this morning, and I'm just scrolling through. I'm waiting on my food to cook. I have since TikTok banned me for putting up that birth certificate. I decided
Yep.
I'm not doing it again. So I'm sitting there scrolling Facebook reels this morning, I think it was, and one come up and it was talking about how pedos know where to steal children.
Mm-hmm.
We know about the symbology. We know about the icons and the symbols that they use and how they hold their hands and
Mm-hmm.
covering an eye, all of these things. So now what you need to start paying attention to, the businesses that you do business with, look at their
Their
logo.
logos. Yep.
There
That's
was one
right.
of them and the guy was showing, and I can't, you know how it is, you scroll past something, you never go back and find it. But
Mm-hmm.
he was showing some of the symbols for these truck stops out on the interstate. And it's like a triangle, but it looks like a squiggly line that's making a circle, but it's a triangle
It's
shape.
like a triangle spiral. Yeah.
Right. That those are all over truck stops. It's part of their logo. That signifies you that there are no cameras in the parking lot. It's a safe zone.
Interesting.
It's a pedo safe zone.
And well, truck stops have always been notorious for other types of behavior anyways. You know so this does not surprise me that there are no
Pizzagate. Yeah,
cameras
Frank.
there. Yep, Pizzagate. And
Pizzagate.
this was another thing that I really wanted to bring up. This is really when we talk about red flags, when things that are just so obviously wrong that in the depths of your being are just shouting at the rooftops like, don't you see? This whole executive order of the homeless people being rounded up nationwide, I know a lot of people have just kind of brushed this off, but you really need to pay attention to your surroundings and how many homeless people that you see in your everyday, that in comparison to what it's been like in the last 10 years. Because LA right now, in downtown LA, and let me tell you, I am out there once a month at least. So I see this on a constant basis. There are usually hordes of homeless people on the streets, guys, with their tents. Like, they have tent cities. I mean, it's just crowded with homeless people all over the place. There has not been one homeless person spotted in downtown LA in the last 2 days. Not one.
Really?
That is concerning. That is extremely concerning. Where did they all go? The only time we've ever seen anything like this is in San Francisco when Newsom decided to clean up the streets for Xi Jinping to come and visit. But now in downtown LA, I just must emphasize this, okay? Downtown LA, there is not one homeless person to be spotted. When I'm talking, we had complete tent cities lined up on major streets in front of businesses all over the place. Now they're just gone. Look around your surroundings. Even small towns, they're probably not going to be as obvious or right away as your big cities, but please pay attention. And if you do see some homeless people around, stop them and give them some warning. Say, hey, be careful out there because they're rounding you guys up. And I'm telling you, there are only three reasons or three possible outcomes of this, because when they say treatment centers or rehab centers, fine, but there is the other category that they are not specifying where they're taking these homeless people. And homeless is a big broad term. Those people who have been displaced by natural disasters or fires, you're homeless, right? You don't have a home. Even if you're staying in a hotel, you are considered homeless. There are very big implications to this. And the three main reasons they're doing this, or what they're doing with these people, is one, they are going to tell you, hey, we have these great government subsidy programs. And if you get this chip or sign up for our program and basically sell your soul to us, we'll take care of you and you can go back out on your merry way. The second thing is they are going to be trafficked. If they are of able body, out of a certain age, they will be trafficked either for manual labor or other things. And the third
Organ
option,
harvesting.
or that leaves our third option. The third thing that they are doing is taking them out, unaliving for maybe organs for whatever purpose. But
I
those are the three
watched
things.
I watched an interesting one this morning that said the number that we're given as world population is a lie.
Oh, yeah.
That we don't have nearly as many people on this earth as they claim we do.
I do not doubt that whatsoever.
Like, I think they say there's like 8 billion and it's really in the millions of actual human souls. I'm trying to stay away from this Cabbage Patch Kid thing from back in the day because that
I
just
went
hurts
down
my
that
brain to go look at that one.
girl. I went down that rabbit hole. I sure did. And I mean, okay, I was a child in the 80s, man, where Cabbage
I had a
Patch
Cabbage
dolls. Yeah,
Patch,
I
yeah.
had a couple of them.
I
And
still have mine.
but just thinking about all that and the orphan trains and all of these things, I'm just like, okay, that's
It
great.
makes your mind hurt when you
Yeah.
start trying to think about all these things. Yeah, I mean it. There's some stuff that I run across, and me, and Daniel and Willie sat around the weekend chit chatting back and forth. And it's nice when you're having a little round table like that and you're throwing these ideas back and forth because you get somebody else's perspective.
Right.
Especially anything's got to do with nature, because Willie used to be a farmer, so he knows a little more about nature than we have a perspective of it because somebody always sees the other side. But
Right.
we had some very deep conversations. But yeah, the quantity of people that go missing is crazy. And it tells you in the Bible that if you consume flesh, now I have not been back to find out if that is supposed to mean human flesh or any flesh or flesh of particular animals, but there's constitution in there that if you consume flesh, you are trapped here. It's a soul trap. Your body is trapped. So could that be the reason that human DNA is showing up in bologna and hot dogs?
Well, interesting fact. This is a practice that has gone on for thousands of years. Um, it is one of those things that it's a spellbinding type of thing that the Jews who say they are Jews but are not and are the synagogue of Satan, they have been using their sacrificial flesh within the butchery field for a long time, for a very, very long time. And, years ago, there was a lot of stuff that was coming out about McDonald's, not just here in the United States, but more information too of places in like other third world countries that they
But McDonald's
have.
has an all beef patty, Shannon. You know why? Wait. Do you know? Okay, everybody out there, let me give you something.
Okay.
McDonald's says they have an all beef patty, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what an all beef patty is?
What's an all beef patty, Roxy?
It's the name of the company they get their meat from.
Oh, yep. There you go. There you go. Yep.
It has nothing to do with the content of what you're eating. The name of the company they buy their meat from, which is their company, they named it all beef. So it is an all beef patty. They get that patty from a company named All Beef. Dun 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 dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Slide of the hand.
Have you noticed that there have been a lot of stories coming out about wildlife having these zombie like fungus growths coming out of them, and like
Why, yes, I have.
right? Well, you think about this, okay? If you are contaminating the wildlife that, say, you could go hunt for your own consumption, but
If it all goes
if
bad,
it's
yeah.
all goes bad, well, then you are stuck being reliant on
A
the
system.
mainstream system to get your meat or to get any of your stuff. And not to mention there are those bugs out there that are biting people, that are giving allergies to meat to people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which, by the way, I'm sure is funded by the Bill Gates people, because they
Well,
also own all the fake meat companies. So
I know our conversation a lot of times goes back to those sticky
right.
pokey things that they give you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna go back sticky pokey into like 1930s. And this is we're gonna give technical credit to this to Willie. Just FYI. He's our new one of our new technical advisors.
Sweet.
Back in the 30s or 40s, they did not have things they have now. Farmers had livestock, cattle,
Mm-hmm.
hogs, things of that nature. They didn't have these big vats or garden sprayers or anything else. You had to spray and treat your cattle and stuff with things to keep them from getting parasites. Because if you've ever watched a cow pasture, a cow sitting there swinging his tail because the flies and mosquitoes are eating
Mm-hmm.
him up. If you
Yeah.
got a dog, you put canine Advantix on the back of his neck so fleas and ticks and mosquitoes. All right, this goes right back down your parasite trail.
Right.
Mosquitoes leave larvae behind. Flies leave larvae behind. What do you think parasites are, folks? They're
Mm-hmm.
larvae. It's nothing but maggots, microscopic maggots of different breed. But back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, in order to treat those cattle, they did not have these big stock tanks or whatever you could go to the local tractor supply and buy. You waited on the Sears and Roebuck man to come by and you had to buy it from him and it was mail order. There weren't no Walmart, weren't no tractor supply.
Right.
So what they did was they dammed off two ends of a ditch. They filled said ditch up with water and with said chemicals, which would have been the things to treat against flies and ticks and fleas and all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They put the chemical in the water. Well, the cow ain't gonna go in that water by itself. Somebody got to lead him through. The
Oh
farmer
no.
led the animals through the ditch, which was filled. I think it was arsenic and a few other chemicals, type
Jeez.
type chemicals for the. Because a cow and a hog has a hard hide. Their pores are not like our pores, so to speak. But they were. This was an external whatever before they come up with some of the stickable stuff for animals as well.
Right.
Well, anyway, these farmers are walking these animals through a ditch to treat them over and over and over again. Well, shortly, sometime polio broke out. So
Mm-hmm.
they come up with the polio stickers.
Oh yeah.
Uh, well, come to find out, the symptoms that were exhibited and recorded and classified as a polio breakout was not actually a polio breakout. It was a reaction as a side effect to all the chemicals these farmers were smearing on the animals to try to keep the larva laying insects off of the meat.
It's interesting that you bring up the polio stuff because, my grandmother, when she was a child, was you know, one of the first few cases. Like she was in an orphanage in New York at the time, and they had a sticker, created for that, and it helped her and those kids. But apparently that wasn't pasteurized, so I think one or two children had passed from that. So there was this a halt on it, and this race for these different companies to come up with a um, pasteurized, a better version of this sticker. And that's, of course, when you go down in the line and find out that one particular company that did end up getting the contract had added things to that sticker that was not supposed to be there.
Well,
And
most stickers have a base solution of aluminum nitrate and mercury in it. And
right,
when you
but the
combine those two things, go watch them.
right, the original sticker for polio didn't. I don't even know if the whole pasteurization thing is real, to be honest. I feel like that was an excuse. But the original one didn't have that. But I do believe that it had other properties that they, of course, won't mention. But regardless, that one was the one that actually worked. And I'm not saying that people who have had it since haven't seen results that are whatever, but just the fact that my grandmother had that first dose, and that she had contracted it back in, I believe, like the late 20s,
All right.
in
Well,
an orphanage, it makes me wonder because, most of the kids who had received this polio situation were from orphanages. So I'm wondering if those chemicals that the farmers were immersed in because of the cows and the livestock was not maybe administered in some other form or way to a lot of these kids that they experimented with in these orphanages and institutes.
we all know that when you get punctured with a rusty piece of metal, you're supposed to get a particular sticker. So,
Oh, yeah.
you don't get that. Do you know that if you have a milk allergy and you go get that sticker, you could die before you leave the hospital?
That sticker is what uh, gave me problems when I was 11 and I had the booster back in the early 90s. And I've had a passing out condition ever since.
My health went severely downhill after I had that one.
This is
My
the sticker that I fought so hard for my kids to be exempt from. And then out of nowhere, they wouldn't allow my son back into school. And long story short, my son was so sick of it that he went behind my back because he's allowed to at age 12, by the way, here in Southern California. He went behind my back to get it. And he's had problems ever since and has a condition that is
Well,
similar
first
to
off, you
mine.
live in the wrong state. But
I
anyway,
know. I know.
well,
I
here
fought
in
so
South
hard.
Carolina, you can exempt from stickers through religious exemption. That's
Yeah,
what we do.
not here in California anymore. I had an exemption through Kaiser Permanente. But because of all the measles stuff and blah blah blah, and apparently all us anti-vaxxers here in California, they decided in 2016 that they were going to renege that. And not only that, but they didn't say or do anything about it until the CV thing hit. And then once that happened, oh, they've been using that excuse all over the place. And let me tell you, here in this town, we are probably the most conservative town that there is here in Southern California. I beg to argue on that. And still we still ended up complying. It took us longer than other places around here, but it breaks my heart. And they sure did, like 2 years before that, at least give kids 12 years and up medical autonomy over themselves. So, they can go and chop off body parts and stuff without our permission.
Well, the thing that kills me about these stickers that are given to children, um, or grown-ups, if you ask the professional who is suggesting this, why? Why do I need it? What are my risks? Let's mitigate this. Tell me what my risk is versus my reward. Well, when you have a new little bambino about 3 months old, they're gonna stick them. One of the things they're sticking them against is Hep B. Do you
Mm-hmm.
know? Everybody knows. I guess everybody knows. If you don't, you're fixing to know how you contract Hep B. Unprotected sex and dirty needles.
Right.
Why would a 3-month old need that?
Exactly. See, that was at least one
Why?
of the things we refused on both kids. But I mean, I literally saw friends of mine's children be normal 1 second, get those stickers, and then become a completely different
Girl, I have a
being.
30-year-old
So,
son that went and got that, and the next day the light went out in my child's eyes. He has never
yep.
been the same since then. I will scream that to the top of any mountain and any man's face that wants to hear it. I watched my child, who was sweet and loving and fun and giggled and laughed, to getting that, had a fever when he went home, and the next day you slowly watch my child disappear in there.
Yep.
Like
There are
y-
detoxes for this, by the way, which if one
yeah.
of these days we can post it up on our site and things, that would be great. But there are detoxes for these things. And anybody, see, I'm trying to convince my son to do this, but he's a hard-headed kid. But anybody who is interested, there are ways to cleanse yourself from a lot of this stuff and get your gut biome back, and come out of the darkness that the sticker gave you.
Well, some good news Daniel and I discovered over the weekend is that you can take a normal avocado pit. This is another Willie contribution, everybody. You can take a avocado pit, put it in rubbing alcohol, and sit it in the sunshine for a couple of days, strain it, and spray it on what hurts.
Yeah,
It
there's a video clip out there of the step-by-step process for that. I'll find it and maybe we
it
can
is
post it on there.
amazing. Daniel and I were obsessed with spraying our stuff with this over the weekend because
Did he get his leg? Spray it on your leg.
we sprayed it everywhere except his
Okay.
open wound. We sprayed it everywhere. But like elbows, knees, shoulders, ankles. Like if it was a joint, it got sprayed with this. But it Willie put it on his hand to begin with. He's a farmer. His hands hurt. He's got arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
He sprayed it on it, and he's like, "You try it. I'm not going to tell you." He said, "Because you're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you." Well, my shoulder has been giving me a fit for a couple of weeks. I woke up with frozen shoulder, got it worked on, still sore, still having trouble with like getting above my head and stuff. But and he's got this spraying like a garden sprayer thing. So I go in and pull my shirt up, and he like hoses me down with it. Within seconds, the pain is gone. I can move my arm. Like
Wow.
my arm, I could not like get my arm above my head straight up. I could go row a boat. Ain't no lie. And like if your think anything's swollen, you spray it, the swelling goes down. It's crazy. It only lasts for an hour or two, but it's an avocado pit, some sunshine, and rubbing alcohol.
I'm on it. I'm gonna
It
make
it
some.
is amazing, folks. Cut up the pit, do whatever you want to do with the actual avocado, but take the pit and cut it up, in chunks. Cut it up, half and quarter it again. Put it in a mason jar. with at least 70% rubbing alcohol. You look at the front of your rubbing alcohol bottle, it'll tell you 70%, 90%. It needs to be at least 70% or higher rubbing alcohol. Put it in a mason jar, set it in sunshine for the next couple of days. When you walk by it, put it on your front banister, your porch, or something so it's in direct sunlight. Shake it. Next time you walk by it, shake it and keep shaking it. 3 days later, strain it and put it in a spray bottle. A lot of people eat avocados and throw the pit away. Now you know what to do with the pit. It's not wasted. It is amazing, folks. I don't know how to explain to you, but I'm sitting here right now with my shoulder hurting, and that avocado stuff is 16 miles from me, and it's going to be about 8 o'clock before I can get to it. So I'm going to have to take some Motrin. I would rather be kicked than have to take a Motrin.
Oh, I know, right? Well, hey, I'm looking this up on just YouTube, none of the other platforms, and is video after video after video of this remedy and how to make it yourself at home. So if you guys don't remember any of the directions that Roxy said, even though it's pretty simple, just so you know, you can look up how to make this yourself at home on YouTube, and there are plenty of people who are showing you how to do it.
Yep, and my next trial and error we're going to do here, because I don't want to tell you guys about anything I ain't willing to smear all over me. I will be your crash test dummy. I'm the crash test dummy of the supernatural show. Anyway, we're gonna take okay, I don't know if anybody's seen it on air. I have a spot right below my lip. It's been there about 4 years. I got burnt. There was welding going on, piece of slag jumped up and like hit below my lip and the slag stuck. So I had to snatch it off real quick. Well, there was a burnt spot on my lip. It healed, it came back. It healed, it came back, and it tends to get a little bit bigger and bigger. I camouflage it with makeup. I try not to put anything on it. Been to the dermatologist. They said it's not cancer. It should heal up on its own. Well, guess what, folks? We on year 4 and it ain't healed up on its own. And it normally tends upon my stress level as to how angry it looks. I'm self conscious about it. I've tried everything. I've even put ivermectin on it. It helped, but it didn't cure it. So we are going to try Indian healing clay. I've been researching this. It's an Aztec secret. It is 100% natural calcium bentonite clay. It's dirt.
Right.
When I was growing up, and this ain't no lie, my grandma was one of these ladies that we weren't going to no doctor and we weren't going to no drugstore and we weren't taking that stuff. You lined up at her house once a month to get you a dose of castor oil, and you need not give no lip about it because it didn't matter. You could take it, or she could put it in your mouth and punch you so you would swallow. It did not matter. You were taking castor oil. Love my grandma, best woman I knew, but you know what I mean? It was not
Mhm.
optional. So I'm trying to go back to the most natural way I can to heal ourselves. When
Yeah.
I was a kid, if you scraped your toe or your knee or your elbow on a bicycle, rub some dirt on it. She literally used to do that, rub some dirt on it. The dirt stops the bleeding. The dirt is full of nitrogen, magnesium, calcium, all kind of different kinds of dirt and different kinds of nutrients. You come in and eat, and she'd wash it off, where you got dirty all day. Rub some dirt on it. You'll be all right. So
Well,
we're
yeah,
gonna rub some dirt on it.
I mean, even in the beauty industry, when you're getting a facial, that's what the best masks that they use in professional facials is just that. It's just bentadite. I cannot pronounce it, but this clay, that's
Yeah,
exactly what that is.
yeah, this stuff. Well,
But it is the best to get impurities out of your skin, for
Daniel
acne and
has
stuff.
looked at it all weekend and he wants me to try the olive oil. He thinks maybe it might be something fungal because Lord knows I don't think it could be a parasite, y'all, because I don't think I could detox from parasites much more than I do now. I am to the point that I know that food is so bad. I'm living off of potatoes, folks. I'm a potatarian. I'm not eating the meat. I'm not eating the fast food. I don't trust the vegetables. We don't like them anyway, but they've been sitting in warehouses and hot houses for months off of these genetically modified fruits so that they'll
Mhm.
last longer to get them to market. The whole time they're sitting, you got nothing but time for parasites to grow.
Mhm. Have you tried melaleuca oil and frankincense and lavender, like the
N-
combo? Because
No,
that
ma'am.
is
I've not
also,
been down that trail yet. We're gonna do the clay, and if the clay don't work, then we're gonna move on to that. You
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 can
get next
add
suggestion.
you could add those drops to the clay
Okay.
because they're just essential oils,
Well, you're gonna have
all
to text me
natural.
that because I
Okay.
won't remember that in 20 minutes. Send it in a
Yeah,
text message, and
you
we'll.
can you can mix that in with the clay and just kind of do it all at once. But that'll take care of your fungal, like any fungal issues or any of that kind of stuff, all at once.
Yeah, I live off potatoes. I see there, Mister Super Sideminder. I'm a potato girl. I like them boiled, baked, mashed, burnt, fried. You name it. I can eat a potato anyway. Put a little cheese on it, but I don't want that prepackaged cheese. I want
Mm,
to cut my own cheese.
right. Well,
I want to
yeah,
cut my own cheese.
that's
Yeah.
actually one of those things is they encourage you now to just shred your own cheese or cut your own cheese, which I don't see
Well,
why that's an issue.
I
People
guess
should do
today's
that,
show
but
is all about odd facts. So let me give you this one, folks. Margarine.
oh God,
Margarine
no.
Oh, margarine, if anybody doesn't
It's
know,
evil.
was not made for human consumption in the beginning. All these large farming production facilities that made turkeys, them Thanksgiving things you eat, they were trying to find a way to fatten these bad boys up so they could slaughter them quicker and get them frozen and sell them. So, you got all these scientists and they go out there and they invested, I think it was 2 or 3 million dollars that they had invested in this stuff that they were trying to add to what they were, a liquid like margarine is what it was. But anyway, it didn't taste like it then. But they were trying to add it to the food to fatten them up. Well, guess what? It killed the turkeys. Just bam, killed all of them. Well, they had all
Big
these millions of
surprise.
dollars invested in this food additive that was killing the turkeys. So what they do? They added butter flavor and gave it to the humans. Welcome to your
Ah,
margarine.
it's parquet. I love that comment. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's poison. It is not parquet. It's poison. Do not eat margarine. Pay attention to your food label. If it does not say butter, it ain't butter. If you want butter, go get you some buttermilk in a jar and start shaking.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like anybody who grew up in the 90s, like late 80s and all throughout the 90s, there I mean, okay, Twinkies and all those things are already awful to begin with. And we already know that they have changed their formulation of these products anyways over the years to add more chemicals and many other things. But there was this huge fad back in the 90s, especially for reduced fat, light, fat free. And we're talking, it was in like any kind of brand food you could possibly think of. There was a reduced fat or light or fat free version. And that was like all my mom, again, love you, mom, if you're watching this, but all my mom would ever get because she was extremely weight conscious, has had a battle with that most of her life, as a lot of us women do. But that in itself, I think, did so much more damage than having it normal with the regular sugar and all of that kind of stuff. And I just remember I kind of rebelled against it, really hardcore rebellion against it. And I was like, no, everything has to have just sugar and fat because I can't do this. It was just so weird tasting. It was wrong and never made me feel good. And of
Well,
course, that kind of put me on the obese line for a little while because I just went nuts and was like, no, I'm never eating this stuff again. But they still do this stuff to this day. I mean, they just have rebranded it and repackaged it in all these different ways. And there was that controversy a while back ago, about using cells and, things along those lines for product companies. And when you find out how they test these fake sugars and how they test all these things for human consumption, it is chilling in itself. They've used these stem cells in a robotic um, contraption, but has grown an actual tongue with real sensors in the tongue, right, in this robotic contraption to taste these products.
Oh
That in
goodness.
itself
Ugh.
should just make you run for the hills on a lot of these stuff. I mean, see, the APEP company, as I'd like to call them, is one of the worst, proprietors of this.
Well, and I don't even think we as humans realize a lot of things about our own body. Like, you can look at your fingernails. Your fingernails should be smooth. You know, if you got natural nails and you touch your nail, they should be pretty smooth. If
Mhm.
you feel ridges or lumps or bumps growing in your fingernail, something nutritionally is off or something is off. Like, I noticed the other day I have a ridge in the middle of my first finger on my right hand.
Hmm.
Well, after a little bit of investigation, guess what? That points to your thyroid. My thyroid hasn't worked since they irradiated me after those parasites gave me cancer. So,
Yep.
and I quit taking the thyroid medicine because I'm not taking that poison. I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix this on my own, but I'm not taking it. But anyway, your hair, your nails, your eyes, your nose, your ears, those are all sensors to alert you. It's a warning system that something's going wrong. If you driving your car down the road and the check engine light comes on, something is wrong. The same thing goes with your fingernails, your hair. If your hair is dry or frizzy, it can be more than the shampoo you're using, folks. I mean, those are your antennas.
Well, that is an interesting thing because that, as a hairdresser, in the beauty industry, a licensed cosmetologist, we're trained to notice those things for thyroid issues and things along those lines. My mom actually helped save one of her clients' life because of that, because she could see, because of her hair, that something was very wrong with her thyroid, and she would never have thought otherwise to check. And so anybody who does have a professional hairstylist that they know or go to, ask them to keep an eye on the changes in your hair and skin and nails, because they may pick up on it faster than you can. So it's just
Oh,
something
yeah.
to think about.
Well, and like me, which I've always worn artificial nails for years, and I ran across some information here a while back that it
Don't tell
doesn't.
me. I just kidding.
You
Girl with my
You deserve
nails.
to know.
I
Today's
know.
lesson on the
Ah,
Supernatural Show: when you put anything on your nail bed,
I
within
know.
10 minutes, those chemicals are absorbing into your body.
Yep.
I know.
I'm already pretty screwed considering as a hairdresser, I touch and sniff this
You're at
stuff
least going to have pretty nails when you
24/7.
do it, huh?
Right at
Going,
this
going,
point.
going out of this world with a good set of nails on.
Well,
I done told him, yo,
I will say this, okay? There's something that at least you can you can at least get a better product than a lot of the stuff that's out there. There is a whole thing about the what I call sweatshops and nails out there.
mm-hmm,
They're everywhere.
mm-hmm.
They are using banned chemicals. So if you're getting acrylics or getting any kind of things done with any of those places, you are bound to get sick. I had a situation like that. So now I drive all the way to LA once a month to get like the best top of the line, least horrific thing that I could possibly get to do that. So if you are one of those people like me who has that one little thing you don't want to let go of for now, there are some better options. Just don't go to the sweatshops, guys. Don't
No.
don't go
All
there.
right, I got to address something here with Aunt Kim. She
Okay.
said, sorry, Aunt Kim, I'm calling you out on air. What about little white spots on the nails? Roxy, when you figure out about the thyroid, let me know because I've been on these meds since I was 16. Okay. The way thyroid medicines work, you have two chemicals in your body that your thyroid handles, T3 and T4. If you go to a specialist, a thyroid physician, they're going to test your T3 and your T4. They will give you medication, and I can't remember which one it is, but there's A and B. Um, they give you a medication. We're going to say chemical A is made by your body. Your body uptakes it, processes it, and it turns into B. Then your body, that's the measurement they take. The conversion is the problem. It's not that your body's not making it, it's that your body's not converting it. It gives you it gives you 100 units of A. Your body converts it and it should turn into 75 units. Well, it's not. You're only getting 20 units instead of your 75 in conversion. So what they do, that original chemical in your body, A, that would be 100 units, they just give you a medicine that ramps that up to 400. So when the conversion happens, you're getting a closer to normal number. They're not fixing the conversion problem. This is like trying to take a gasoline vehicle and get diesel out of it. It's not going to work. It's nothing more but a band aid on the situation. They're overdosing you on chemical A to try to convert into enough B for your body to operate. And as long as you're on those medicines, levothyroxine, yep, all of that stuff, synthroid, all they're doing is upping A so it will convert into a little more B. They're not fixing the conversion process. That's in your body's methylfolation. All right. As pregnant women, they told us you need to take folic acid. Most people can't even convert folic acid in your body, folks, and it's causing you all kind of problems. You can have a gene test done. It's called the MFTHR. I'm not going to say what it sounds like out loud, but it's a gene. You can have that gene tested if you do not process folic acid properly, which is the majority of the population. You will have methylfolate problems. When you have methylfolate problems, you have a higher risk of ADHD, thyroid issues, all kinds of stuff. Well, as we're talking about all of these fats and low fats and butter and fake butter, if you're eating at a fast food restaurant, you're eating fake butter. They don't even have fake butter there. They have at these fast food restaurants this stuff called grill on. It's like Pam in a can.
Ugh.
I can eat from a fast food restaurant with a flat grill, like go to Waffle House or whatever. I can't leave that place before my stomach goes sideways. You're
See,
okay.
out here we don't have Waffle Houses. We have Denny's, but
I'm
it's just
sorry.
as bad. Me
I'm
too.
sorry. Any place in the world that doesn't have a Waffle House, they should just shut the whole dang city down.
Well,
Everybody needs a Waffle House. But y'all don't eat grits out there. So no, y'all don't need a Waffle House because you don't understand what good food is.
hey,
I can't even
there's good
call I
food
can't
out
even call
here.
you a Yankee. What am I supposed to call you? You don't even eat
Hey
grits.
now, hey now, hey now. We got
Hey
some
now.
great food. We got some great food out here, including
Just
real
so everybody
Mexican
knows.
food.
Me
Real
me and
Mexican
Shannon,
food, okay? Real
I don't eat
Mexican food.
I
That's
don't
all
eat
I have to say.
Mexicans. I ain't missing nothing. They don't serve
You're missing
potatoes.
out. Yes, they
They
do.
don't
They
no,
have potatoes.
not plain potatoes with cheese. That's all I eat.
Yeah,
Plain
they
potatoes.
make tacos out of them. They're called papas. It's
But they got
papas. It's
seasoning on them,
potatoes.
Shannon. They got seasoning. I don't eat seasoning. I don't know. I don't eat garlic. I don't know that stuff. Anyway, we're back off subject, y'all. When we're not hungry, you ought to try having a phone conversation between me and Shannon. This randomness can go on for hours.
Speaking of randomness, I'm just going to do this and shout out for a real quick minute. I'm going to turn my camera on, guys. Apologize ahead of time. But I wanted to show you guys that I did get some merch from our store.
She's got on our
Hashtag
truther
truth
beanie.
there. Love the beanie. We're going to work on some of the, you know, stuff on our
Graphics.
shirts, the graphics. Thank you. But yeah, turned out pretty good. I was like, sorry, I'm trying to show you the shirt. I know that probably looks weird. But anyways, I got some new merch, guys, today, and
Yay.
I'm loving it. So I just wanted to encourage y'all to check it out. That's all. Just
We
wanted
gotta get back over there and make
to
some new shirts because we still got our. I still love my favorite shirt out of our whole thing is they called Noah conspiracy theorist too till it started
That's
raining.
right.
Till
That's
it started
right.
raining. Then they
I,
all got worried. Too
I
late.
am I am particularly in love with this whole cosmic choir shirt. I just want it to be a little more obvious, but love it.
Well, I know we're talking about health and fat and all of that good stuff. Cholesterol. You know, when you go and get a cholesterol test, and I don't care who you are, I don't care how healthy you are. If you go to a general physician, you know, as you get in your 30s or 40s, they're going to say, oh, your cholesterol's too high. You need to be on one of these statin drugs. Take a guess what your brain's made out of, folks. Cholesterol, fat. That's
Yep.
what your brain's made out of. So when you
Yep.
start
It
taking
is.
these statin drugs, that's why you end up with Alzheimer's. Because your brain done went and shriveled up because it's cut off all the fat from it. The
Right. And
number,
all of these fake foods, too. Yep.
absolutely, and fake butter, you're not getting the fat. Beef tallow, bacon grease. This is why my grandma lived as long as she did and didn't ever go to the doctor until she had a heart attack in her 60s. We didn't go to the doctor. We grew our own vegetables. She saved bacon fat. That's how we seasoned things. That's how she made all kind of different stuff. Was like animal fat. When I was growing up, now I didn't live on a farm. I lived next to a farm which we worked on. My grandma had worked on that farm for many years. She was kind of right hands to the farm owner. She collected rent on all of his rental houses, you know, and kept everything going for him. But we grew our own hogs. We slaughtered our own hogs. We knew where our meat come from. They weren't a single thing from that hog I don't think my grandma didn't use. And they some of it now I think about her making like hog head cheese and it just I'm like, "Ugh, I can't do it. No. It was bad. But there wasn't anything that was wasted. When you look at this thing that they're putting you on statin drugs for high cholesterol, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I'm going to tell you to go research it. Go research the question. How was the number derived? The number that says your cholesterol is high or low, go look and see how the medical field come up with that. To
Mm-hmm.
my understanding, and this is for entertainment purposes only because I'm not a doctor, I should be. But anyway, they took 1,000 people. Didn't matter who they were, whether they weighed 500 pounds or 60 pounds or 20 years old or 80 years old. They took 1,000 people, measured their cholesterol level, added them all together, divided it by 1,000, and said, that's where your marker should be. That's it. That's how they contrived your marker for whether you need cholesterol drugs or not. Go look it up, check my facts, prove me wrong. If you can prove me wrong, by all goodness, email me and school me because that's what I can find.
Interesting, because you remember how you were kind of getting on me about the chapstick, although
Yes, ma'am.
that particular brand, because I am very
No, that
particular
one's a
about
good
those
one.
things. That one's a good one. But I do not use any chemicals on my face.
Me
I'm one of
either.
those. I'm don't judge, Kay, but I don't wash my face every day. You really don't
Nope.
need to. I don't put on makeup every day. It's a very
Mm-mm.
rare thing that I do anymore. But I recently picked up some moisturizing stuff for my face that is beef tallow, honey, and olive oil. And it has been the best thing I have ever used in my life. And I've been in the beauty industry my entire life because of my mom and my cousin and many other family members. But this, and worked in a day spa, with facials, all that stuff, 24/7. I love this stuff. It is the best thing that you could ever put on your skin. It's got natural collagen in it, because of the beef tallow, all that. And it's very lightweight. It doesn't smell funny. So if you guys ever want to look into that, even men who have really rough skin, have some very dry areas, that stuff is amazing. Should definitely go down and research that and using beef tallow on your face and skin. It's
Beef tallow
amazing.
and cold water.
Yep.
Cold water. Ice cold water dunks. When I get in the shower, I've got to the point, y'all, and we have quit worrying about people calling us crazy a long time ago.
Yep.
Long time ago. Because the normies out there think we are crazy. And I ain't gonna lie to you. Long before I was awake, we gonna say back in the 90s, everybody was coming out with this organic and vegan and the chemicals. And I'm like, look at them people. What is their problem? Just eat it, man. No, I apologize. I apologize. I'm now awake. And even when I go to wash my hair, I wash because I have really long hair, like yours, it's way down your back. I take
Mhm.
the lower section of my hair and wash it first because, that takes a little more work and the shampoo's got to stay in there a little bit longer. When I
Yeah.
go to wash my roots up toward my scalp, I am up under the water trying to get that shampoo and stuff out of my hair as fast as I can because of all the pores on my scalp. Your whole body, whatever you want to call it, your body, your meat suit, your avatar, whatever you want to call it, is nothing but one big pore. It's an antenna. It's picking up how cold it is, how hot it is, how humid it is. Is there a bad chemical in the area? The hair on your arms is a sensor. It stands up when you're in danger. So if you start inundating your antenna with bad chemicals, your antenna ain't gonna work right no more. Because if you start shredding it to wire in your car, you're gonna start having some electrical issues. Same thing happens with the human body. My daddy was a mechanic, y'all. I equate everything to a car.
My
Everything's a
dad
car.
was too. My dad was too. That's cool. But
Yeah,
it's
they do
that
think we're whack jobs, Lance, but we're okay with it.
that clay that you were talking about to put on your lip, you can use that for your hair and it's the best cleansing tool too. And you could put the essential oils in it. But I've done a lot of research on how they used to take care of their hair, back throughout history. And some of the best um, advice out there and the best thing that had worked for a long time was that clay, using the clay to cleanse the hair instead of these
Well,
chemicals that
and
we
this
have.
is what kills me is I'm sitting here, I've got this big old jar of bentonite clay in my hand as we're talking, I flip it over, it's got an expiration date. How does
Yeah,
dirt expire?
I don't know, but they're probably. I wonder if there's a element like what are the ingredients? Is it just the clay? Because
100% calcium bentonite clay, all natural. How does dirt expire?
well, it
How
might
does
just
salt
be that
expire?
it might just be that it will dry up too much after that point.
No, it
So
means they want you to throw it away and buy more.
right, more than likely, more
Okay,
than
they
likely.
tell us that this pink Himalayan sea salt or whatever it is, pink Himalayan salt, that salt was collected from stuff that's thousands of years old, which we know what pink Himalayan sea salt is. If y'all don't know, it's giants. But anyway, um,
Yep.
it has an expiration date on it. How is something thousands of years old going to expire because you put it in a glass jar and I bought it at the grocery store?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just insanity, folks. Some of the stuff that they stick in front of our face are just insane. Insane.
Miss Kim's comment. I can't. That's why
That's
they
why
say
they say
blondes are
blondes.
dumb. We bleach our hair.
Did it take your IQ when you bleached it, Aunt Kim?
Hey, I'm naturally a blonde. I don't know if that counts. I'm already
I'm not.
special.
I'm naturally my picture there, you see, that's when I had purple hair. The purple hair had died down. Right before we had that thing in 2019, where we all got locked in our box. I
Mm-hmm.
had hair that was so purple you could see me across the Walmart parking lot, girl. I
That's
looked like
awesome.
something out of I loved my hair, but all of a sudden we got locked in the house and the beauty shop was closed. So then I decided I was going to try to do this myself because you could still order things and get it shipped to the house. I looked like Rainbow Bright. It did not work out well. You should never dye your own hair purple, just FYI. And that
Yeah,
picture
guys.
that's on the screen is from me about a year later trying to wash the Rainbow Bright without over frying my hair. I love purple hair, but
Oh. Yeah, it's hard to do. Especially if you have really dark hair and you want it really purple, you do have to bleach it beforehand. So yeah, it's
yeah,
it's
I've just
kind
give
of
up on the whole hair thing. I try to color out some of the gray now because my whole head is gray. I got in a car accident when I was 16, which you've heard about. I don't know if the
mhm.
viewers have, but it crushed one side of my face. and
Oh,
they cut me across the top of my scalp from ear to ear and peeled my face down and put all these
oh
little, oh yeah, that there's all kind of little metal plates inside of that face you see on screen holding all that together. That picture you see is 20 some years later after like 7 surgeries to put it all back together. I headbutted a pine tree at 100 miles an hour, drunk driving teenager. I ain't even gonna lie
wow.
about it. I was stupid, stupid. But my whole head is gray. When they cut me from ear to ear and done what they did, my literal whole head is white. It ain't
Wow.
salt and pepper no more. It's white. I mean, I look like something out of a comic book. I look like Storm off of X-Men. I'm just white.
I mean, you know how many people want hair like that? I'm just throwing that out there. People spend a lot of
Okay,
money
Kim.
to get that white.
I
So
know.
you should rock it, girl. Rock it.
Well, my hair, you got to understand, my natural hair is smut black. And with my hair white, I almost look bald because it's like it's white, girl. I can't explain you how white that hair is. Like I would look bald. I would not leave home. I'd wear a hat all the time because even like when the front of it grows out and I pull it out, you know what I mean? In
Mhm.
my eye, all I can see is my scalp. Okay, off of my hair. Let's see. What did the viewers say? Anyway, we're not ignoring you guys. We're just running our mouths. We hope everybody's enjoying it today. Daniel is up and feeling better. He said he'd see everybody tomorrow. So I guess this is the Melinda and or Roxy and Shannon show. My bad. Today,
That's
we
okay.
normally do
Everyone
one.
calls me Shannon, and I'm supposed to be Soul Seven. It's all good.
Yeah,
We're people of many names.
anonymity is not something we're looking at because we're crazy anyway. Let's see. Let's look at who all. I know we got Mike and Super Dave and Kim, Miss Kim. Kimberly is here. We got Lance. I've seen quite a few others in there. Truth Co-op. Mr. Super Sidewinder was here. I don't know if he's still here or not. I think we got about 38, 40 viewing. But we hope we haven't terribly bored you today with our weekend catch up. Shannon and I did not get to talk all weekend because I was talking with Daniel all weekend.
Yep.
We were trying to solve the world's problems, and unfortunately, I don't think we can. But we can tell you what they are, and we're going to do everything we can to point them out. We just don't know how to solve them all. If we could, we would.
That's
Um,
okay. That's God's job, anyways. But
I think our job is to try to wake somebody up.
yeah, we are
Our
watchmen on the wall, and
Yep.
we're pointing it out, saying, "Hey, bad guys are coming, guys. They're right there. Can't you see them?"
Well,
That's
and
it.
I don't think people are seeing them, and I've noticed that some people who took the icky sticky, I don't know if we're going to be able to wake them up.
Oh, wait a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the phone for 1 second.
What?
I just got this breaking urgent warning for 13 states in the US that Walmart is selling radioactive shrimp.
Oh my God.
So, because, this kind of fits with the conversation we've been having in this show. Yeah, I'm not sure what 13 states at this particular second. I'm going to look into this more, but radioactive shrimp. I mean, guys, don't shop at Walmart if you can help it
No.
anyways, but honestly, like radioactive shrimp.
Mm.
Why? How? What in the French toast, guys?
Well,
So yeah.
and I was in, I have started trying to be super vigilant about who I spend every dime of my money with.
Mhm.
Um, every dime of money I got is important. I don't know out there who knows who doesn't. I lost my job 2 weeks ago. I literally clocked out of work that day at 4:30 and called into my home office because I work for an executive recruiting agency. And because some of my paperwork didn't go through, and I called and I'm like, "Hey, paperwork didn't go through." He's like, "Yeah, let me see what's going on," because I worked for a international vacation company, timeshare company. Anyway, um, I got a call back 2 hours later that I had been let go, and they forgot to tell me 2 weeks ago when they were supposed to. So every dime I got to me right now is important. I have a 30-year-old disabled child that I have as a roommate, I guess you'd say. He still lives with mama. I call him my kid in my Dora the Explorer's backpack. He will always be with me. But if I only have a few cents and I'm spending them on something, I'm trying to be very careful about who I spend them with. Yesterday, I saw an ad for a particular name brand of blue jeans. I will never buy them again. I will never own them again. I am a southern girl. These was blue jeans that we always wore around here. You know what I mean? I mean they start with an L and end with an I. In the middle they got an E and a V, so you figure it out. But when they decided that that lady they gave that country music album of the year to, Miss Carter, when they put her in those jeans and made a commercial with her, I'm done. I don't want anything to do with their product.
Right.
Nothing.
That's, years and years ago when my father was still alive and the kids were little. I mean, I am not a big Disneyland person. I live here in Southern California. Yes, I've been there several times, unfortunately, but I will never pay ever again to go into those parks. But
No.
regardless, my dad went with all of us to go, with the kids to show it to them when they were little. And back then, I wasn't quite awake as I am now. And all I wanted was my Nightmare Before Christmas merch. That's all I cared about. It's the only thing I ever bought at Disneyland. It's the one thing that I got every time. Well, he then kind of broke it down to me in this way, explaining why I really need to get away from needing to get merchandise from Disneyland. But he gave me this whole lecture, and I've never been able to shake it ever since. And he pulls out a dollar bill and he says, Shannon, this dollar bill right here, this is your only actual vote in this
Yes.
world. It's like any amount of these votes you put towards something, that is something you are voting for and saying, yes, I want to uh, put my money and in my life and my hard working or workings, can't talk today, into this thing that I'm putting my vote in. And he said, where does Disneyland make their merchandise? And I was like, oh no, sweatshops. Dang it, Dad. He got me so hard on that. And I was like, okay, so yeah, me putting in this dollar towards this merchandise is propagating sweatshops, and I am voting
Absolutely.
for sweatshops. So that being said, these little, even a penny, okay, that is a vote. That is a vote to what it is you are wanting to
You are
perpetuate.
yeah, you are perpetuating the horror.
And that
That
is another thing, like when it comes to corn, I'm using the
mhm.
corn instead of the other word, but
We're not talking about the vegetable, folks.
right. But when you're even when you're going to free sites for that, that is your vote of saying, yes, I want to perpetuate trafficking, because that's what it is you're doing. And you don't realize it.
And if you
So,
don't know who runs all the corn sites, you might want to go look in because
yeah.
corn and juice box goes together.
Hmm. So, that's we obviously don't have a real voting system. I mean, it's all a bunch of ridiculousness when it comes to politics or all that other stuff. It's all a bunch of hooey balooey, okay? But your real vote is what you're putting your money into. And that's how it works, guys.
I
So,
am trying to find something. I texted Daniel, and as much as we text, Lord only knows when it was.
but that's
But
like going to Walmart or Target or any of these places. Where are they getting a lot of these cheap things from? They're sweatshops, guys.
yeah, children that are
Children.
stolen and trafficked
Children slave
and put
labor.
in factories. Let me tell you, that chemical like they like to get from those children, they can't extract that very well after they're about 12 or 13 and pubescent. So if they're good workers after they've um essayed them and tortured them, then they put them in the factory to make those shoes. So just keep buying those shoes. That's all I can say. You have to be careful because, like Shannon said, the only vote you have is where you put your dollars. And I don't know if a lot of people realize this because I think the viewers of our show, I don't think many of them fall into that 1% category. If they do, they're just listening to us to try to get us shut down. So
Right?
if you are of that type of income level, those people have not ever paid a light bill. They may have when they were younger, but they don't now. If they want to buy a car, they just tell somebody, okay, I want one of those, or I want one of these, or I want six of those. The actual balance in the bank varies no depending on their life. Yes, you said that word out loud, Kimberly. I did not, but that's what I meant. Um, they don't have a concept of a dollar. The only people who understand what it takes to work for $1, $1, $10 are us. And we understand how many of those dollars you got to pile up to pay your light bill or your mortgage or your car payment. Those people have no concept of that. Money is nothing to them. It is monopoly money because they've got 9 sub companies and 2 shell companies that all their money is flowing through and multiplying, and they're taking from us. This is why it's called a 1%. When you look at a pyramid, it's smaller at the top. That's where all the money's at.
Mm-hmm.
Pyramid scam.
Mike just put up that he says, Shannon, my wife Stacy just got a warning on her phone about food from Walmart. It's a long list of recalls. Anything to make a salad with, peanuts, avocado, these are all supposed
Fantastic.
to be radioactive too. I'm a whole
My
chicken.
avocados did not come from Walmart, FYI.
You know, that is the one good thing about living here in Southern California. There are a ton of avocado trees. I could just go pick some
I cannot,
avocados.
you know what we got to looking for this weekend? Papaya. I cannot get
Oh,
a fresh papaya here.
holy shenanigans.
Okay, listen to this one. You can take a papaya, you take the seeds out of the papaya, wash them, put them on a paper towel, and let them dry for 3 days. Once they are completely dry, you add them to all natural honey. You let them sit in the honey in the dark for a couple of weeks, and when you come back, you have an all natural parasitic detox. You
Yeah.
you can't get you can't get a papaya here. I
Huh.
want some papaya seeds. I don't even want the papaya. So then you get online, and I'm sure I probably could get online and order it and pay a small fortune for it, but I'll just keep taking that other stuff I'm taking at the moment.
Do you
But I
guys
was
don't
just,
have any like health stores out there? Like we have like Clark's and stuff like that. I don't necessarily
we got a
trust
GNC.
like Whole Foods or anything, but
We got a GNC out here.
oh geez. See, that's not the same. Cause
Our
I'm like,
area has been so overdeveloped, it's full of blooming shopping centers. They ain't no, the only health food stores you got around here are these blooming places to sell smoothies, and God only knows where their ingredients come from.
so that's the one good thing is we have Loma Linda out here, and that's like there that region is in the blue, if you know what that means, meaning like
Yeah.
the healthiest standards. So most of the places that are in Loma Linda are certified to that point. Like they are so scrutinized with the products and food stuff and everything that they use out there. It's kind of nice. So I do have, that's like where Clark's is, and you can get an organic papaya. You can get organic just about anything rare that you don't normally find in your regular grocery stores.
I'm sure I can probably order it somewhere online, but I thought I could get one locally. I guess I didn't know I couldn't, which I don't go to the grocery store, folks, because I can't deal with these people that are in there and look like they're all strung out on something. They're all like bouncing around and looking, and most of them are door dashers. Don't get me wrong; they're trying to fill an order. Our area has been extremely population wise overdeveloped ever since that thing happened in 2019 and everybody got locked inside because everybody went to work from home. Well, if you lived up north where the cost of living was twice what it is here, a lot of our thing was back in the 80s or 90s, this was a vacation resort area in Myrtle Beach. I'm in Myrtle Beach.
Mhm.
If y'all don't know, I'm in Murder Beach. And it
Sorry,
is
but yes.
Murder Beach because the cartel
Mhm.
has taken over and someone I knew was killed Friday night. And I'm pretty sure that those people that pulled the trigger on him were cartel. I've seen the video. It did not look like it was just a bar fight, it was a setup.
Mhm.
Anyway, I won't get into that. But that's an immigration problem. That's why they opened the door and let all these people in here. Order from chaos. That's what they're trying to do. The more chaos they create, the scareder you get, the further you go back in, the more control they have. Then they'll come in with some plan like they did back in 2001 when, them things hit them tall things and they went and then the
Mhm.
next thing you know, they enacted something for surveillance. Same
Mhm.
theory, order out of chaos.
Mhm.
They these people in control start the chaos and then say, "Oh, look, we got a solution." They had the solution to sell you long before the chaos ever happened. They're the ones that incited the chaos. Period. It doesn't matter whether it's crime or health or anything. They create the problem in order to sell you the solution
Mhm.
because a well patient is not a return customer. We are now looking at the point that we have figured out that the majority of diseases and cancers are not caused by some cell that went haywire. It's a parasite. I have a family right now, family member who is suffering from Morgellons disease. All right. I went in and done some research. I lost my dad in 2015 to brain cancer. My dad had already had lymphoma years before. My dad got lymphoma, then I got lymphoma, my niece got lymphoma, then my dad got brain cancer. We all live in the same neighborhood within a mile radius of all each other our whole lives. So I just thought it was cancer. I had cancer. I fought cancer. I had a really hard fight with cancer. Well, this Morgellon disease is where it looks like parasites are coming out of your skin.
Mhm.
This family member of mine started getting it's like this family member is the exact same age as I am. We used to wear each other's clothes growing up. We were like little twins because we weren't born but 6 days apart. But he's a very sharp guy. He's slick. He's an auctioneer, that kind of thing. He's on it. Smart guy. He's slow. He's hesitant. You can tell that something's going on. Well, these sores started popping up. You could see the little things coming out of them. Well, then another um lady had come to me that she was suffering from Morgellons disease. Well, and I got to look at what this lady and my family member was going through, and I'm like, wait a minute, those things look exactly like what my dad was talking about a year before he had brain cancer. So I went backwards down the rabbit hole. My dad, for a couple of years before the brain cancer was diagnosed, he would sit in his chair and like rub one foot against his other leg. He thought fleas were biting him. We didn't have inside animals. Now, I was an adult, but my mom didn't have any inside animals. My mom had cats outside, but there were no inside animals. It was on his arms, it was on his leg, on his trunks is where we mainly seen it. But it was very hard to see. You had to get a magnifying glass. Well, after I talked with this other lady and I knew about what was going on with a family member, then my dad had brain cancer. And this lady that I was talking with was telling me she was a school teacher. She quit teaching because she just felt like she wasn't, clicking, firing.
Right.
So I went down the rabbit hole. We've talked about this before. There is a parasite called T. gondii. This is something that a cat excretes. It is a parasite, kind of like a
Mhm.
cordyceps parasite. They excrete it in their urine. When the rat walks through it and gets it on their paws, a rat licks their paws just like a cat. This parasite will get in their body and take over their brain and make them slow and confused so the cat can catch the rat. Well, this family member that I have for a living, he's an auctioneer. So he buys storage units, cleans them out.
Mm.
All right. My dad was a mechanic with oodles of junk cars in the backyard, and my mom was the cat lady. So this other lady I spoke with had been in a pack house unpacking it after a family member had passed away, and you could smell the rat pee in there. So I got 3 people with more gallons, and it all went to their brain, and it just happens, though, they've all been exposed to area where cats and rats would have been quite frequently. I don't know, sounds like it all matches up to me. What you think, Shannon?
It sounds pretty spot on. And by the way, Kimberly and Truth Co-op, thank you for all of the advice with natural remedies. I'm checking this out in the comments. It's fantastic suggestions in there. Those are all really great. And two, there was this whole thing too. I wanted to touch on this one about interesting that in the Bible it says that our Lord will send wormwood to the earth, and wormwood is a detoxifier, which I've used that in the past. It may not be strong enough unless you're doing it on a consistent basis, but I mean, this parasite thing is a huge issue, and I have cats, and that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to try the blood parasite one as well. What is it called? If I cannot.
Benzazole?
Yeah, that one. I'm gonna start taking that along with the other one this next coming up, whatever, because now I have your little regiment that you sent me. But
Well, wormwood is actually something that most Spanish people put in a tea and drink. Like my grandma gave me castor oil. A lot of the Spanish people, South American, Mexican, Guatemalan, a lot of them take wormwood and just put it in hot water like a tea. Because you
right,
can buy wormwood in these like little pieces in their like spice aisles. Here you can. I don't know what they look
yeah.
like there, but
There
um
is wormwood tea too that you can purchase that's specifically already done in the little bags and everything. I've drank that several times. And by the way, if you do do drink this, it is a extremely bitter tea, and I love bitter, I love sour, I love like potent flavors. But the only way I could actually really drink it was putting lemon in it, and it kind of subsided the extreme bitterness. So, just a little word of advice, because it's really hard to drink, but it does have a lot of benefits to it. You just have to be careful to not drink it literally every day, because that can also cause some issues.
yeah, and any of these detox, I can't speak now. The detox things you do, just know in advance your stomach is gonna purge your system. That's the
Yes, yes, it
purpose.
will.
The purge is coming. And the day the purge comes, maybe the day before, evening before, you're going to feel like you struck down with the flu. You're going to feel like the flu is coming. And then the next day, it's like you had Taco Bell at 2 a.m. on an empty stomach. It's coming. But
I
it's for a
know.
purpose. It has to remove them from your system.
You know,
The
I did see a comment about Taco Hell on here. Someone had mentioned that they only have 30% beef in their
Yeah.
meat. I'm like, yeah, that's because mealworm is the other
Yeah.
part. But that's, yeah, another story for another day. Don't eat Taco Hell,
Yeah,
guys.
don't eat fast food. Don't. I mean, I know every once in a while we're all going to eat fast food in a hurry because you're on the road or whatever. Keep it limited. Make it as minimal as possible because that's not food. That's chemicals and soybeans and mealworms. And I
Mhm.
could tell you some things about ground coffee, and part of us would never drink coffee again. You don't know what is in this food unless you're there when it's prepared. And the sad thing is, I had a conversation one time with somebody about like water systems being compromised or poisoned or whatever. And they were like, oh, it would take so many people. No, it wouldn't.
No, it
No, it
wouldn't.
would not. If they wanted to compromise your whole local water municipality, all they need is the one person that injects that bucket of chemicals with a poison, and they just
Mhm.
ship it right on out. Because the dude that works at your local water municipality treating water, he knows that on Tuesdays he adds, 1,000 pounds of this chemical or 50 pounds of that, and he just goes to the shed and gets the chemical. He's not checking the chemical. He's not pulling out strips or a microscope to make sure it is what it says it is, because his bosses order those chemicals from the same company they've always been. All you need is one or two at the top of the ladder to contaminate what's coming down the ladder, and the people down the ladder will just dump it right in because they don't know any better. Because not enough people are awake. Not enough people are
Right.
questioning.
This is kind of a good point to bring up. But when we think of balance in our bodies or balance in anything, say you have a fish tank, right? And you love fish, you have, you know, these fish that are beautiful in your fish tank. And but what do when you have these fish? You check the pH balance of the water, you're checking to make sure that things are okay so the fish survive. Well, it's kind of like plants or people, any of us, we all have a pH balance that we need to maintain. And, when you're thinking of all these chemicals, a lot of them are very acidic. We tend to be extremely acidic in our bodies with everything that we consume nowadays. So, keeping yourself at a pH balance is the best way to make sure that your own body immunities and all those things are working properly, because you can do all of these great cleanses, you can really change your diet, do all these things, but if your pH balance is still very highly acidic or extremely alkaline, you're not going to end up healing. Your body isn't going to be able to work to take in those cleansing properties or to reset your body. So keeping an eye on your pH balance is a very helpful, so you can take in the nutrients that you're trying to consume. It doesn't just pass right through you. You know what I mean? I'm
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of really terrible at explaining things sometimes.
Well,
So,
and a lot of the foods we're eating today are nutrient deficient because they've been
exactly.
genetically modified. Okay, folks, if you've ever been in a relationship with another adult, and in that relationship there was any type of exchange of bodily fluids, whether it be kissing or anything else. Let's say it's a one night stand and you have that interaction with that person. Do you know how long it can take to get that person's DNA out of your body as a woman?
Never. It can actually seep into your brain and stay forever. I've
For
found this
six
out.
weeks. Oh, this goes way worse than that. For
Oh
six
no.
weeks. It will take a female's body 6 weeks to detox and not go through withdrawals. When you've been in a marriage, they tell you to wait a year before you get in another relationship. That ain't just psychological, that's chemical. When you actually uptake somebody else's DNA on a regular basis, your body gets used to it. Just like a drug or smoking a cigarette or whatever, your body becomes used to it. It's part of its normal feeding, so to speak. So when you separate from that, the first 6 weeks of a relationship, the separation anxiety, a lot of that's from DNA exchange. But if that female gets pregnant with a child, we
Oh
know she
yeah.
carries her child's DNA in her brain forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever. It never leaves. Part of that child's DNA is that man's. What do you think mentally happens to women who have children with multiple fathers?
Mm-hmm.
These are women, they have started noticing that some females that have more, I don't want to say instability, but more anxiety, more things, are the mothers who have children and all, with multiple men. They got all different baby daddies. We not going. They got ADD, all different daddies.
Sorry.
But it causes mental health issues.
Yeah.
It's just like being on a drug and going through withdrawal. Well, now you've got a drug in your brain that you're never going to get again. And so it causes mental stability issues and all kinds of things.
I mean, on a spiritual level, this is why God, has told us not to have multiple partners.
Partners, yes.
You have one and you stick with that one. It's good. That's all you need. I
And you
mean,
should
even
only
for
be with one
those,
at a time. I mean, ain't nobody saying you got to get one and keep him your whole life, regardless how good or bad it is, him or
right?
her. but don't be overlapping and don't be
Yeah.
multipling it up because it will just cause stress and anxiety. Is all it will cause because your body is literally freaking out. You you
Right.
you gave it drug A on Monday and on Thursday you gave it drug B and now next week you want C. It's still looking for A and B. You have caused it to go into a freak out mode and
Well,
your
yeah.
brain freaks out.
And on a spiritual level, you don't know what spiritual baggage
Ain't it?
that all those, having. That's all I can say is you take on more than just the DNA. You take on a
Because trust
spiritual
me,
thing with that. And
them one night stands and hooked up with somebody after you ain't known them but a couple of days, you better figure out what kind of demons they toting around with
that's
them because I'm telling you,
right.
they can attach and stay. It ain't pretty. Um, I know we've wound you people up today for an hour and 40 minutes. You're probably tired of hearing our brand of crazy today, but
Nah.
I have a research
No.
project, a homework project for all of you out there. Go look in your yard. Take your phone and just the natural floral and fauna around you. If you don't know what the name of it is, go take a picture of it. Google has that thing where you can take a picture of something and it'll tell you what plant it is. Write that plant name down. Then in another window, go over there and type in medicinal uses of and put in that said plant. You will be amazed what is growing in your own backyard. I got a plant in my backyard that the root off of it, when you dig that bad boy up and dry it out, it is pure DMT. The vine off of peanuts out the dirt, most time they turn the vine back in because the vine is nutrients. They just get the peanuts off. Go look up the medicinal of a peanut vine.
Well,
It'll blow your mind.
dimethyltryptamine is technically within all of these things. There are ones that have higher concentrations than
Well,
others
this one's
in
got a high
plants and
one.
stuff. But the thing is when you're eating it or consuming it, there are things naturally in your gut biome that kills that. So you're not pretty much tripping out on DMT every time you consume something.
Well, we
So
never
that's
have to worry
like
about Melinda because nothing works on Melinda. Like, I can't even be. Something happened when all of this medical stuff happened with me, especially after, like, I don't know, I was in my 20s. They have issues putting me under anesthesiology. Like, propofol just makes me drowsy. Like, a couple of minutes into surgery, I'm coming up swinging. I've actually blacked one doctor's eye. They
oh
literally woke me up and threw me out the hospital because I come up swinging. I told them people, I said, y'all go in there, you better strap me down. I will hurt you because when I wake up,
right.
I'm going to be mad. And it's happened twice. Drugs don't work on me, so they're useless. I never had to worry about being a drug addict because for some reason, none of them worked. None. They don't work. They don't work for me like they do for others, I suppose. Because, when you're younger, you try things, and I'm like, y'all really spend your money on this? This
Right.
is a joke.
There's a comment by Truth Co-op about watching the movie Looking for Mr. Goodbar. I totally remember this movie, but it's fairly old. I'm trying to look up the premise of it real quick because I think it has to do with what we were talking about with the multiple
Girl, I'm in no
partners thing.
hurry. I'm in no hurry. I just didn't want
See.
anybody out there that was tired of listening to us to be tired of listening to us because y'all don't know. Me and Shannon can do this all night.
Yeah,
We
it's true.
we could be like we can do this for hours. We got hundreds of horrible things we can tell y'all not to do.
Oh, that's very true. Let's see. I'm just trying to find
Mr.
a
Goodbar, I
dedicated school teacher, Teresa Dunn, spends her nights cruising bars looking for males with whom she can engage in progressively dangerous, extreme sexual encounters. Okay. So, yeah, it's like
Richard
on
Gere is
this.
in it.
We're not going to bring up the things about
Yeah,
Richard Gere,
no,
but
quiet, Shannon.
regardless,
That's the
regardless.
quiet part you can't say out loud.
I
Not yet.
know. But,
I know.
but yeah, I think I would like to rewatch this. I think I've seen it like forever ago when it had come out, but that's kind of the whole thing. Like, you see so much of this anymore of multiple baby daddies, or just, the whole 60s revolution has kind of spurred on to absolute insanity this day and age. I mean, because of course, no one cares about any kind of respect or integrity within their being anymore. And they're just, I mean, everything in the media is like, yeah, go get your rocks off on everything and anything, including,
Everything's a dopamine hit.
yeah, and so it's really scary because, you know, there's a lot of demonic activity as it is. And when you're sharing your DNA and your spirits between each other, you just got to really be careful. There's some shady people out there with some
Oh,
scary
absolutely.
demons. So,
Now, I was married for 25, would say me in 27 years, since high school up until I was in my 40s. And we split, and I had to go back into the dating world. And then we all got locked in a box. So thank God I didn't get much of that experience. That's about the only thing I can come out of locking me in that box for, when we went through all of that was I avoided the dating pool. Cause they some people out there that's like worrisome. Like you
yeah.
can feel the black goo oozing off of them. And
Well,
I don't think a lot of the normies feel that. Maybe we feel that because I mean I can see strangers in the grocery store and I'm like, something ain't right about that person. There's something dark in there.
well,
And
with the internet and all the stuff out there that is being allowed to perpetuate fetishes, and I mean, it's gone so overboard and insane, and it's so easy to find groups of people who feel the same way. It's like it's exploding this evil throughout things so much faster in people. And when the whole lockdown situation came up and everyone just had nothing else better to do than get on your internet or watch the movies or whatever, it's exploded to make things even worse on that level. I mean, just the amount of depravity out there that is so easily found, it just makes me sick. And it never used to be like that, not to this level. But people are just getting darker and darker and darker because that ability to connect to it is so easy now. And that's like
um,
anybody who are on those dating sites, please, God, be careful. There are so
off
many
of them.
sick people out there. And I know a lot of people who are on those sites, and it's like, you don't know if you're going to be in a basement tortured and eaten. Okay. Just don't do it.
No, you do not. Because I'm telling you, this is what I'm talking about, the dating pool. I got divorced and a couple of months later decided, okay, it was time to stick my toes out in the water because I had never been, I guess you put this in quotes, an adult in the dating scene. Because I had been with my high school sweetheart since I was 16 years old. From the time I was 16 till I was 40, I was with the same man. Never even thought, I mean, that just, that's not something that occurs to me to cheat. That is an agreement between two people. And like I say, you shouldn't be sharing and swapping DNA. I've never believed in that even before I was awake. And this may sound crazy, but the day I woke up is the day I became single. Don't know why. Like literally, it's weird. Me and you have to talk about that sometimes, Shannon. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I know why, but I wouldn't say it on air anyway. But I met a guy and thought I knew the guy. We had talked a time or two, and the first time we weren't around other people, the first thing that fool tried to do was check me out. I'm a 40-some-year-old woman that like got choked out by somebody who was a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? This wasn't like just some completely random stranger. He was actually a friend of a older cousin, and like, yeah, I'm like, what? What? That was the end of Roxy dating. She was done. I'm done with this dating thing. Right then, right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a dangerous world, and you got to be extremely careful, whether it be in a relationship or a friendship. or you're communing with other people, be careful who you're communing with, because that black goo, as I call it, can ooze right off of them and ooze onto you. So always be aware.
I think you have a an admirer in the chat here, Miss Roxy. Just kind of throwing that out there.
I saw that. I see
Yeah.
you, Cass.
Cute.
I
Okay.
appreciate the comments. That is cute. But no, you're in Michigan, and
No.
thank you anyway. It's too cold there. No, thank you. No, thank you. It's too cold there. But yeah, you got to be careful with everybody you come in contact with, regardless of the reason you come in contact with them, because people are dangerous. There are a lot of people that are not awake, because we all know, we sit there and you'll be having a conversation in a restaurant, and somebody's over here and they're turning around looking like she needs a straight jacket. Did she just say that? Yeah, I said it, lady. Go look it up. Go do some research. It's, I beg anybody, I am not right about a lot of things, but I spend a lot of time researching what I don't know so that I can know. So if by any means somebody that watches our shows, we now got multiple. Um, if you got other information, email it. Roxy's New Life at gmail.com. You can email me. You can email me and say whatever you want to say. I'm not going to get mad about it. I'm not one that gets upset about criticism. I'm on here doing what I do. I don't make no money off of this. Now I'm unemployed, so I ain't got nothing to do but this and look for jobs. If not, I'm going to be living in a tent for long. We got to find a job. But anyway,
All right.
I may have to start taking up donations for a tent and some type of generator, because I'm going to be in trouble here before long.
Mm,
Something will happen, something will come
something.
along. You have to keep a positive mindset. You
That's
can't
right,
look at the
because
bad every day.
God may shut one door, but He's opened several for
Well, I
you.
wish somebody give me some directions to the window, Shannon, because right now I'm wandering around in the
Right.
building and I can't find any. Everywhere I look, my job has been replaced by AI.
AI, that's okay. This is an important thing to bring up too. You're not the only friend that I have had lose their job who works remotely from home. Um, and yes, AI is taking over these jobs, and it's not just remote positions, guys. We have to be on the watch
No,
that
I'm in
all
accounting.
of our jobs. I mean, I've even seen robots doing hair in Germany, okay? The This whole thing, we most of us will be out of work in the next 5 years and being forced to be put on what they call universal income, which is all part of the digital system. So that being said, I mean, I know we've said this a lot on our show before about trying to be self-sustaining as much as possible. I mean, if you're living in a place like I do where they have so many stupid laws and rules about self-sustainability out here, like in California, there's other places, it is a lot harder to do, but um making sure that in the next 5 years you have some kind of plan and understanding that whatever your job is now, it is more than likely going to be taken over by AI and robotics, to come up with some kind of plan of what are we going to do, because
Well, I'm going to give you a word here, people. Potato. Go back and look at the Irish famine and how they survived. It only takes one potato. Potatoes are easy to grow, they're easy to store, you can keep them forever. Potato.
you're just in love with potatoes, but
I
yes,
love
it's
potatoes.
really good.
I am a potato-tarian, but you can take one potato and make many potatoes, and you can keep making potatoes. Those potatoes are easy to grow. They just grow under the dirt. You dig them up and you store them in a cellar, a cool, dark place. They're easy to store. There's protein in them. There's potassium in them. And yes, you do need other things, but potato, back in days of depression and famine when people had very little, potatoes were added to everything. This is why all of your stews have potatoes in them, because potatoes are a filler. And Okay, the constitution of eating 3 meals a day, that was invented by the Rothschilds. We are not supposed to eat 3 times a day. The word breakfast, break fast. The
Mhm.
only way your body heals is when it is on a fast at night. That's why they say, okay, you've always been told that your body heals while you sleep. Your body also heals while you sleep because you ain't stuffing nothing in your cake hole.
Right.
You are supposed to get up in the morning and break your fast, and you're supposed to eat. That is your fuel for the day. We're going to take this right back to the car. If you fill your car up with gas before you leave on a trip in the morning, you don't stop every 3 hours and just put more gas in because you felt like it. You wait until the car is close to empty on a road trip. Your body is the same way. You're supposed to eat in the morning for breakfast, and then you hold out as long as you can. Back in the olden days, before McDonald's and 3 meals a day and a food pyramid that is contrived by a conglomerate of people at the top of the 1%, you ate in the morning. When my grandmother cooked in the morning, she would normally cook some ham or bacon. Normally it was pork and some homemade biscuits or something. You had a bacon and egg homemade biscuit before you left home. Well, there were always leftovers. When you come home in the evening, she might fix something else, but you didn't waste what you had for breakfast. You ate a little bit of that, and she might cook some potatoes or a vegetable. You didn't have these big meals at night, and you didn't stop for lunch. Every time you eat, your body has to take its energy and focus on breaking down that food. Well, you only got so much energy in this power plant. And if you're diverting it to break down the food, you diverted that energy away from healing and repairing into food processing. So the less food it has to process, the more it can heal. You ever heard the old wives' tale? Starve, what is it? Starve a fever, feed a cold is one of the
Right.
old wives' tale. It's on purpose. It's so if your body's not having to process all this crap it's putting in, whether it be soft drinks or coffee or food or whatever, if it's not having to focus on processing that, it can then take all that energy and direct it towards healing.
All right. And the
Yes,
three
Mike,
meals
everything
a
is a car
day.
analogy with me.
Right.
Everything is a
Well,
car analogy.
well, though, too, when people, when the standard was to have 3 square meals a day, that was back in the times where people were doing hard labor on every day because there were no convenience stores. Weren't all
No.
of these fancy technological devices to help you to do your everyday tasks. Living every day was you get up and you're already doing chores. You're just nonstop physically doing things. So you needed that amount of energy
All
and
right.
calorie intake to be
Back to
able
the
to
car
handle that.
analogy.
Yeah,
When you
but
pull up at the gas pump, there's regular, mid grade, and premium. If your
but
car will run
the
on the
right.
cheap stuff, you're going to put cheap stuff in it, right?
Mhm.
That's
But,
McDonald's.
that's I mean, most people now, they're sitting on their butts either. I mean, even, on an everyday basis, how much physical activity do you do on an everyday basis to survive? You don't do a whole lot anymore in
No.
this day and age. So, I mean, obesity levels are just through the roof everywhere. All of these things because you're not burning any of that energy. It's just sitting in there.
Well,
you know?
and this whole eating and energy thing come to me because of Willie. Willie's farmed ever since he was a small child. His family had farmed for over 100 years on the same piece of land. They got up in the morning and they would normally grab something quick. Well, since him and I have been around each other, he will go all day long. Now, this man starts his day at 6 or 7 o'clock. He's not farming anymore, but he works a regular job and he restores tractors at night. This man gets up in the morning and starts his day at 6 or 7 a.m. He goes to work, comes home at 5:30. He'll eat lunch. That's his meal, is lunch. He'll sit down and eat him a big lunch, take a nap, and he goes back to work for the afternoon. Well, when he comes home, He goes right to work at his own, at home where he's restoring tractors and will work till 11 or 12 o'clock at night, not eat, not hungry, and go to bed. And I kept looking at him like, this man is only eating once a day. He's not eating enough. You know what I mean? I'm thinking he's not getting out. That's all he needs because that's the way his body is trained. Because from lunch to lunch each day, he's fasting. So his body is not having to convert or divert energy into food breakdown. It's taking that energy and he's working and healing himself.
Right.
Knock on wood. Let me find a piece there. I knocked on wood. He is in his 40s. The only time the man has ever been to the doctor, it was a medical emergency. In 5 years, the only time I've ever got him to go to a doctor was once when his appendix was about to rupture. And that took me 2 days to talk him into that. And you don't need to eat that much. All these potato chips and snacks and cookies and candy bars and the munchies, it's unnecessary. It's just like the chapstick.
It's just feeding the parasites.
Yes. Parasites feed on sugar. That's why they give you all these sweet drinks and candy bars to eat. They need them to multiply. The more they multiply, the more pharmakia they can sell you. But I was giving Shannon crap about her chapstick the other day. We talked about it a minute ago. I'm like, stop putting that stuff on your lips. She's like, why? They actually, she's got a good one. It's an all natural one. It's okay. It's made out of beeswax. Made out of beeswax. I'm going to gear that one. But that regular crap that you buy at that Wally World store and all them other ones, it's just generic chapstick. There is an actual ingredient in it to make your lips drier so you will use more of the product.
Yes, it's a petroleum-based product. That's what
you might as well just smear some gasoline on your lips and light it up. Yeah, that'll make your lips plump. You probably all plumped up. Just gasoline.
Just on that subject matter again, with just my whole life has been spent in the beauty industry. I have been brainwashed to be like, you wake up in the morning, you put on makeup, you do all this stuff, you put on hairspray, or all these things. I've kind of rebelled against this for years as a hairdresser. I don't do that really anymore, but that's how I grew up. And the amount of lipstick women consume on a yearly basis is enough to make anybody sick to their stomach. And aside from the fact that yes, they do still use things like whale blubber and things along those lines, think of how many more chemicals they're putting in to make these colors or the long lasting stuff. You're consuming that inside. So just fair warning, when you're looking for makeup, it's important to read those ingredients, and there are ways that you can make your own that is a much more natural and better thing for you, but it does take work and some patience. But don't just go and get that lipstick from CVS, guys. Don't just go and consume all of that, because you're eating that lipstick. You're eating it.
We had the conversation a while ago about the only voting power you have is your pennies and your dollars. So pay attention to who made that product, what company owns that company. And when you start seeing all of that, I don't know if any of you guys know who Ian Carroll is. He's actually on the Candace Owens show, or part of her network now. When Ian Carroll first came out, how he became viral or popular was he would go to the grocery store. He would take a picture of the grocery aisle of all the products up there. And in that picture, he would highlight everything in red that was made by one company and everything in blue that was made by another company. And it would be like the salad dressing aisle. And on the salad dressing aisle, there's like 729 bottles of different salad dressing. All different companies and all different name brands. There was one brand on the whole salad dressing aisle that wasn't poison or made by one of these poisonous companies. And when you start,
it is really easy to make your own salad dressing, guys. Just fair,
well, he
just let you know.
And he really did it on every aisle: the cookies, the chips, the laundry detergent. That's another thing. Laundry detergent. You might want to look into that, because you wash your clothes with this crap, and we know it stays in them, and then that crap rubs up against your skin all day. So your skin's taking it in. Yeah, we're losing viewers. Then we go back up. Then we go down. Are y'all tired of hearing this yet? Somebody can yell like, "Give us a break! We're tired of hearing you." I told y'all, me and Shannon can talk
Well,
all day.
that right. Well, the laundry detergent is a big thing. I've been using natural laundry detergents for a long time because your skin is your biggest organ on your body, and it takes in a lot of these chemicals. You know, uh, one of my favorite analogies to show the beauty industry, because when people think of the entertainment industry or politics, you already know there's corruption, but people don't think about it in the beauty industry at all. And a lot of these big companies, they're all in the whole satanic cabal as well as everyone else. I mean, one of the biggest proponents of that is, I'm sure everyone's heard of Paul Mitchell. But what people don't know, right,
Yeah.
is there's a very shady history behind that man.
Shade,
And
like black.
yeah, the whole Brian Singer thing, I don't know if anyone is familiar with the allegations of uh child abuse that had happened with Brian Singer. One of the biggest allegations against Brian Singer was at Paul Mitchell's house when this went down. Just to mention
Hmm.
that. And that's just one of the many examples, but the beauty industry is such a big industry, and nobody really thinks about so much what goes on in that as much as what's in your face with the entertainment and politics and all that kind of stuff. But you really need to pay attention to these big companies, L'Oreal, Paul Mitchell. There's a lot of them out there that are Clairol. These are like some of the biggest names out there, and they are riddled with horrific chemicals. I mean, especially with us hairdressers who have to deal with this stuff every day. I cannot tell you how many hairdressers have ended up with cancer, uh, dementia, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all of these things. And it's like these chemicals that you're using every day are extremely toxic, but they are also part of the satanic cabal. These companies are right in line with that. I mean, everyone knows about Johnson and Johnson. Okay, but so it's no better with these big giant beauty industry companies, and you're being inundated with these advertisements on social media nonstop about the next fad in the beauty product industry. Just don't even pay attention to those, because it's like in the first Batman movie. Remember how the Joker put all those toxic chemicals in the products and was killing people and making them sick and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and mind controlling them. It's the same concept. The Joker pretty much owns all of these these beauty companies.
What?
There are a few good ones out there,
Make it
but
yourself.
not the big net
That's
label
the
ones.
thing.
Right.
We have the power of where is Daniel? Hang on, I just saw that. Daniel had his studio up. We were all in there about to go live. Daniel ate something at lunch and it ended up causing him not to feel well. But he will be back tomorrow, everybody. I just saw Mama Rages ask that question. For anybody that came in late, Daniel was coming with us. He was going to bail in a little bit later, but he ate something and it did not agree with him at all. But anyway, the
Yeah, thanks for putting up with us talking and
we can.
instead.
I'm telling you, me and Chan,
Just
y'all don't understand. This is a full time job for us. I know I spend 40 to 60 hours a week down a rabbit hole. And for anybody who's curious about Ingersoll Lockwood lately, oh Shannon, I sent you that link by the way. I don't know if you got it or not. But the Russia hoax documents have been released. If you know where to go find them, Ingersoll Lockwood has listed them. As a matter of fact, is how I found them. Because y'all know I check that site every day. Every day. I have found links on there to information that I have searched for a long time, looking through Freedom of Information Act requests, and all of a sudden, just bam, Ingersoll Lockwood has got them. But anyway,
oh, look at all of the redacted black
yeah, it's a whole bunch of blackness, ain't
slimes.
it? You can read it though.
Oh,
It's more or less names and
redacted.
stuff that are blacked out,
Right. Right. This one whole entire
but what I was going to
section
say
is
is
black.
we have you have the internet at your disposal. There are others out there like us who believe what we believe, that the products are tainted, the products are poison, that you can make your own from simple ingredients. You don't need this stuff that smells like lavender flowers. I don't know if people know, but when you light a candle in your house, you are inhaling the toxic chemicals out of it. Those chemicals are made with an oil substance. You hear about people vaping and they get popcorn lung, and people that burn candles in their house 24/7 and all these plug-in air fresheners. That stuff is carried in oil, which is heated up and is put in your environment, and you're breathing it in. You might as well go over there and roll you one up with some of that vegetable oil you fry food in, light it up and smoke it, because that's what you're plugging into your wall with all these air fresheners. Your
Yeah, I'm
body,
not into
your
this.
senses being overwhelmed by this smell. Your body's smell and taste are alarms. If your body does not process something, okay, all right, here we go. We talk about not being able, like me, drugs don't work for me. And I don't mean street drugs, I mean pharmacia. It don't matter whether it's an antibiotic or anesthesia. For some reason, my body rejects it. I can take a medication, and when I go tinkle in a couple of hours, it will be the most foul smell you've ever smelled in your life because my body has already dispersed it. I can promise you. I've
Mm-hmm.
I've taken tests. 30 minutes. My body wipes it. But when you smell something, if somebody cooks something, you smell it and you're like, oh, I can't eat that. That is your body telling you it can't process that. When you taste something and it tastes bad, that means your body is going to have an issue processing it. That is your sensor before it
Mm-hmm.
goes into the factory to be processed. It's telling you bad ingredient, not good for us. Don't do that. Your hair, your eyes, your smell, your taste, all of your senses, your touch, they are your alarm system to warn you of danger. And the more you're burning
Mm-hmm.
candles and plugging in air fresheners and hanging them godforsaken trees from your rearview mirror, um, you're just inducing a dullness to your security system. If you put a security system on your house and you got 5 cameras, when one of them cameras are out, you got a weak spot. That's the same thing with your nose, your mouth, your ears, your touch, everything. It's like knocking one of the cameras out of your security system, and now you got a blind spot that you're going to end up getting hurt in. And so, if you take and induce all of this artificial stuff, and your body gets used to that, yeah, it's not going to work like it's supposed to. You handicapped it.
I am looking at some of these comments that Kimberly is
I know
putting up
Kimberly's
here,
on it, and
and
we running our mouth.
yeah,
I'm not having time to read them, and she keeps right on
no,
flying by. I'm
that's
like, "Whoa,
okay.
girl, slow down, slow down."
But but her experience with Kaiser Permanente and all this is quite fascinating. But this last one, comment I wanted to read out loud. I see that President Trump, who I had voted for and stood up for him, announcing that he wanted every poor person, rounded up off the streets. And I was shocked because of the reason Kaiser thought they could do. So Kaiser basically was trying to do that to her, is what it sounds like. And this is again that subject that I brought up about the homeless people, and the fact that that definition is extremely large in what people are thinking. You could be detained at a hospital or a medical facility at this point. It's is what she's basically saying. If you are considered homeless or poor or in a certain manner, this is a scary thing, you guys, because a lot of people fit in this category even if you don't think you do. And they are going to use that to round people up. So please be careful if you are in a situation where you are not financially stable or in between homes and it's an emergency, just be careful what facility you're going to. And, aside from them forcing medications and things upon you, that is a very scary thing that even the medical facilities can make that judgment call for people to be rounded up. I just thank you very much, Kimberly, for sharing
Yes.
that, because that's right on point of what I was trying to express. Like, this is one of the biggest red flags I've seen. The ICE raids, that was a big red flag. But right afterwards with the homeless thing, I've been keeping an eye on this for years. For years. And there's already been a lot of, hidden programs that are like this that have happened for at least the last 15 years. But now this is like, executive order. That means things are happening. And in this administration, as you've noticed, when these things are signed, it's not like a lot of the previous administrations where things just kind of like, well, I mean, yeah, that order was signed, but now what? I haven't really seen much with it. These things are in motion. They are happening now. And it is extremely important, if you know anybody who is in a situation where they are considered homeless, please warn them. Please try and help them. This is a big deal, you guys. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I have had so much anxiety on this subject matter because I have seen this, going down for a while now, but now it's happening to the point to where places that have been inundated with the homeless population are clean of them in a matter of like an overnight kind of thing. That's not okay. That's not okay.
No.
Think about all the people who have been displaced from the hurricanes back with the North Carolina situation, right? Think about all the fires and people who have been displaced in those who had homes, but they are considered homeless now because they don't have a home. It's gone. You are in that category. If this is not good.
There are a lot of people out there that are struggling financially, and I don't know. And like I say, a lot of times I would love to hear more from some of our international guests sometimes, because we as Americans seem to have been secluded in our box, just kind of like they did a few years ago. You see what you see on TV, you see what you see on TikTok or Facebook, but how do you know that's real? How do you know that any of that really is real? And we've had a few people on here, in our audience that are international, from Ireland, Scotland, New Zealand, but we don't get to talk to them and have a one-on-one conversation with them. Like, how many homeless do you have in your country? How is your economy? How does your government really operate? The only consensus we have about other people's government in day-to-day life is what our government has told us or allowed us to see. Always remember, history is written by the winners. Only the
Mhm.
victor gets to write history. So lately, my avenue of research, I've been going back to situations where they monsteritize the loser. You turn the loser of a war or a situation into this unbelievable, horrible monster. And as long as he's a monster and you think he's this enormously evil person, we'll never listen to what they had to say. And this is a very
Right.
unique person I'm fixing to bring up, but nobody ever listened to what he had to say because he was such a monster. Not that monstrous things didn't happen. I am by no means discarding any of that before I say what I'm about to say. I don't think he done the monstrous act of his own volition. Charles Manson. Go back.
Oh, he was
MK'd.
MK Ultra, yeah, for years. I mean, he actually was in that boys' home in Nebraska that had been full of controversy in that subject matter and ran away after 2 weeks. Yeah, but he was definitely MK'd for sure.
Well,
So
for
yeah.
anybody out there who doesn't understand what MK Ultra is, um, if you've ever watched the movie Jason Bourne is a killer. He doesn't remember anything about his last life. He's a hitman, for super secret underground dark hat intelligence. He's military. He's super soldier, but he's pretty much been MK Ultra'd. All of a sudden, he has a break and
Mhm.
starts remembering who he was. That's what MK Ultra does, folks. They can program people
Those
with this crap.
they're the terms for those are either toy soldiers, or I mean, I'm sure most people are aware of Manchurian Candidate. I mean, it's that kind of situation, you
Well,
know.
if you go back and listen to what Charles Manson said, take the murder. The man has been in prison his whole life for something that he probably did that he really didn't even realize he did. But you need to go back and realize how Charles Manson physically ended up in the hippie commune, who set those hippie communes up. Go look at the information surrounding
Mhm.
those communes, who set them up, who
Mhm.
financed them, what they done with the people in there. They clearly state in
Mhm.
Freedom of Information Act documents from our government, they clearly state that there were CIA that set it up. They were dosing them with LSD and MK Ultra and everything else. There are all kind of operations which are just sick and twisted about what they were watching people do once
Yes.
they give them those drugs.
And what they were paid to
Yes,
provide
yes,
for.
yes.
Yeah.
But Charles
Um,
Manson was
yeah.
not an ignorant man. He was by no means some crackhead that they gave a drug to and he went off and committed a murder. The same things that Charles Manson said about the people at the top and the one percenters are the same things we've talked about for the past 2.5 hours. The
Yep.
exact same things. And the way they shut him up so nobody would listen to him back then is they forced him mentally, drugged him, corrupted him, and he went and committed a murder. A horrible murder which
Mhm.
they made extremely public and turned him and his people into monsters. Not saying the act that happened was not a complete monstrosity. Do not get me wrong, I'm not shortcoming that crime by any means. But he's not the only person in
Well,
history who's been monsterized so you wouldn't listen to what he said.
right. Well, in that particular situation with the murder that took place, that was a ritualistic thing and was planned out by agents of the alphabet, as I like to put. I did want to just kind of real quick go back on the homeless thing real quick, because Kimberly mentioned she's not homeless, and I so over 11 years ago, because you know how you mentioned your father passed away of cancer, mine did too, back in 2014. But he had a home, he had a place to live, but he didn't have insurance, so he got a homeless voucher to go to the hospital to get treated. And because of that, I kid you not, because I watched this whole thing go down, the way he was treated in the medical system was absolutely abhorrent. And they did everything in their power to kill him faster because he had that homeless voucher, even though he had a home. So, what Kimberly is saying is extremely important. If you think you can't afford healthcare, I get it, but you be careful if you try and get that homeless voucher, because they're going to see that and be like, oh, someone we don't care about, and they will find ways to take you out faster. I hate to say it, but it's the
Okay,
truth.
Kimberly, how did you get out of there? She said they told her if she didn't sign the paperwork that stated she consented to being detained, that they would transport her to a long term medical center. When she asked what the charges were, I'm waiting on the rest of it. This isn't Daniel. I've just got his channel on, so it looks like me when I'm. It looks like him when I'm replying, Mike. Sorry. Oh, you're talking to that Daniel. Sorry, thought you were talking about our Daniel. They said because. Let's see. They said
And
because they saw I didn't list any contacts and wasn't working. I thought he was joking, but sadly and horribly, he was not joking.
I mean, how they already played out with the whole jab situation, and there were a lot of people who felt forced into things. But this has been going on for a long time, and especially with this executive order right now, it is on like warp speed mode. So,
Well, I asked it. Shannon and I talked about this pre-show. I don't know who has seen the movie War of the Worlds, not the originals or the remakes. The one that came out right here recently. It's got Ice Cube in it. As far as a cinematic movie, I'm not gonna say it's the best movie you're ever gonna watch. If you're just in it to watch the movie, don't waste your time. Just don't. If you're one of us and you're awake, go watch the movie and pay attention. And it talks about data centers and AI and surveillance and how they know everything about everybody at every minute.
mhm.
And how you can be walking down the street with a phone in your hand and they want to know what you're saying. So without even knowing who you are, they reach over there with that camera, do a screen grab, it picks up the information for your cell phone and they start listening in. They don't put this stuff in movies just because somebody dreamed it up. They
Mhm.
don't. They got a reason. They have to tell you in front of your face. Now, Ice Cube in this movie, Cube was one of the very first people that come out and said there were gatekeepers in Hollywood, and he refused to be a part of that part of the world. He was not going to no white parties with Diddy, and because he wouldn't, he got outcast.
Mhm.
Nobody would work with him. And he's fine with that. He does his own thing now. And because he had people behind him that supported him that believe like we do. This is another reason about putting your pennies where they count.
Mhm.
If you do enjoy watching movies or whatever, be careful who you're watching because they're programming you. I mean, it's
And
just that
not to
simple.
mention, AI is creating most of the movies anymore. It's really
Right.
just.
Well, there was the big Actors Guild strike when we were locked in the box. And that big strike, whether people know it or not, was about AI. Because when you sign a contract with such and such movie company, you are signing over a contract for your central casting character and your likeness.
Yep.
Signing over that likeness gives them the ability to take your face and put it in AI and make a movie. Y'all have seen my intro for my show. That is completely AI.
There is a Black Mirror episode that is or presenting exactly that exact thing, where it's like in that particular episode, these actors, just by signing up with something, or even signing up to it wasn't Netflix, it was something else, but because they couldn't use that name in the show, but it was basically you sign with that, your likeness is now out to be used, and any of these actors who have signed off their stuff and their contracts is the same thing. And in the episode, it's like they're really just AI generated characters, but they think they're really them. And it's like they're the real people after, several versions of this.
Well,
Or,
as we've
yeah,
all
it's a
seen,
whole
everything in
version.
my life relates to a car reference. So
Right.
y'all can imagine I love cars. I love hot rods. I love old cars, go fast. I've driven dirt track cars and drag cars, and I change my own oil, folks, if I need to. But my daddy was a mechanic. When I was 7 years old, you had a wrench in your hand. You better know how to change your oil.
Right.
But think about these Fast and the Furious movies. I watched a lot of them in the beginning before they got really corny. They own like Fast and the Furious 421 right now. And Paul Walker's still in this thing. They took his AI likeness and converged it over his brother's face, and his brother walks around acting like him in the movie.
Oh, heck no.
Yeah, it's all artificial, whatever.
Yeah.
Paul Walker is, well, Central
Yeah.
Casting, Paul Walker is dead. I ain't gonna say that the dude that walks around in that meat suit is dead, but Paul Walker is dead. And if you don't know what Central Casting is, you could go back to Super Dave. It's Super Dave 44 on YouTube. Watch his Central Casting video. Listen to how many times Trump says Central Casting. He is calling it out. He's like, that dude looks like he's right out of Central Casting, talking about kernels and everything else.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
is he
Y-
pointing it out to be funny, or is he pointing it out to us to make fun of us?
when you do your research and you find out how many celebrities' parents were in military or again alphabet agencies, it should tell you right then and there they were born into the central casting brigade. So
Well, and look at all these celebrities who have had mental breakdowns on stage. They come out and tell you. They've been on Jimmy Kimmel. They've done interviews. Katy Perry, she sold her soul to the devil. She tells you
she
that.
tells you that, yeah.
Yeah, many of them tell you they sold their soul to the devil. Well, when you sell your soul, that's right. It's a great central casting video. When they tell you they sold their soul to the devil, they ain't lying. They ain't joking. It ain't a metaphor. They literally sold their soul to the devil. And
Mm-hmm.
once you sell your soul to the devil, you open yourself up to do whatever sick and depraved and disgusting thing they tell you to do to keep on keeping on and make your money. And they
Well,
take these kids that come into the music and entertainment industry when they're little stars on them little shows like, Manana Fana Habana Mana show that come on.
mm-hmm.
And when she was that age, and then you watch her get older, and then she's having mental breakdowns, and like poor Brittany shaved her head. Why do you think these stars are having breakdowns? These people are uber rich. They can run out there and buy a Lamborghini at their will. So why would they be having a mental breakdown? Because
and,
of the sick, depraved things they do and they've seen.
and who's to say a lot of the celebrity visuals that we're getting are really them and not their clone? If we really want to go down
To my
rabbit
understanding, there's
holes.
like 5 different Britneys.
Oh yeah. I
Her
mean,
teeth are
see,
different.
the whole cloning thing, which has gone back from
Cabbage Patch
World
Kids.
War II. Oh yeah, probably even way before that. That's some interesting rabbit hole stuff right there.
Mama Rages, not all Britneys have one of those. Only a couple versions have one of those.
Right? Yep. Yes, that is another thing is the gender stuff that they can do with clones is very interesting.
Exactly. Frank named him right out there. Frank, the name that he just said that starts with a J and ends with a Z. um, his
Right?
girlfriend was the one that was in that Blue Jean commercial yesterday. And because she was in that commercial, I will never ever own another pair of those jeans.
His girlfriend? I mean,
Uh,
he's married to
well, wife, whatever you
Beyonce.
want. That's exactly who was in them blue jeans yesterday.
Oh, okay. I didn't see
And
that.
and not only was she in the blue jeans, she had on a blue jean cowboy hat at a laundromat and was taking her jeans off and putting them in the washing machine and parading around in her little underwear in the laundromat.
See,
It,
I know
it was
I'm,
just weird to me. I'm
you
not.
know,
No, you used her as your representative for your product. I'm done. I'm done with you for now, forever. Anything in my closet that has that name on it will come out of there, and I won't even donate them anywhere. I'll burn them because I wouldn't want anybody else to wear them demon breeches.
the interesting thing about that person in particular is I know I mentioned this, I think, on a Beyond the Veil a while back ago, but I had encountered and was present during ritual things for her coming up into
Mm-hmm.
things. She's my age.
Yep.
So, um, the place of the person she was taking over for was still alive, but there were already plans in place to
To
make
end her. Yep.
to make her what or it, because again, I the whole clone gender, all that kind of stuff. Just put that in mind when I'm saying this. But I know I saw the real Beyonce in that situation. I cannot tell you if that is who that is
Still
anymore.
her.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing was, this commercial come on yesterday on my Prime as I was waiting on War of the Worlds with Ice Cube to come on. When that commercial come on before Ice Cube's movie, I'm like, oh my lord, there ain't no way Ice Cube knows that commercial was on before his movie. That's I think that's one of the reasons it struck me so strongly, because Ice Cube fights back against that side of the world. Um, I don't know if any of y'all listen to Cat Williams.
I
If
have.
you know who he is, he's a
Mhm.
comedian. He's funny. His language is a little out there, but he's funny. I've seen him in person. Long before a lot of us were awake, Cat Williams has been wide awake. He was friends with Prince. Prince was very awake. So was Michael Jackson. So was Prince. Ice Cube. Cat Williams. Okay, Cat Williams made a reference in a show one time. Cat Williams very, very rarely does interviews. He's not about that life. He's not a big public. I need to be on the Jimmy Kimmel show. He don't care about that. Um, he did a interview with Shannon Sharp, and this was back before all the Diddy stuff broke, and he spilled the tea on all the Diddy
Mhm.
stuff. Back during that time, he tells you that once you signed your soul over to the devil, the first thing they award you is an ugly white woman and a baby. All right. Now, if you will listen to Cat Williams, when he says that, this is how very particular you have to be about listening to what people say. Not only what they say, but how they say it. Cat Williams said very specifically, they assign you an ugly white woman and a baby. In another interview, when they asked him what his exercise regimen was, he said, women. And, the conversation goes on, and he goes, no, I exercise with women. He said, because all women are beautiful creatures. There are no ugly women. He meant exactly what he said on Shannon Sharp. They assign you an
Mhm.
ugly woman. Go back and look at all your first ladies, folks. Them weren't first ladies at all.
First ladies, or my favorite to point out is Marilyn Monroe. If
Oh,
if
God.
you all think about it, who has been considered to be an idol in sexuality,
Yeah.
a standard for many many years? I mean, even in Hollywood, people are still trying to mimic Marilyn Monroe, but I would argue that that was the first attempt of switching over that lust to the wrong way in such a big open way. And I do truly believe that that person's death had more to do with that subject matter than people would like to admit. But
Well, putting your
it's
dollar where it
definitely not a
counts.
female.
I know you know, Shannon, but does everybody out there know who owns Victoria's Secret and who's in charge of it?
Oh yeah.
Epstein.
Yep. And I guarantee you most of those models are not who they present to be.
And go look at the other brands. Has anybody ever bought anything from Lane Bryant or Victoria's
No,
Secret?
I don't
They're
trust them
all owned and ran by the Epstein.
either.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's a lot of companies that were involved in that. Those companies selling them fancy drawers to them 19-year-old girls that thought they had to have a $90 bra because some hooker looking woman ran down a runway with a set of angel wings on her. They took every one of them dollars and bought planes and took little children over to that island.
Oh, just fun fact, guys. Those products, the undies and bras and all that stuff, they have in the last couple years discovered tracking devices
Michael does
laden
have
in
it.
them.
Oh yeah, they do. The bras do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle is Michael. All you got to do is look
Oh
at that
yeah.
neck. Yeah, Michelle is Michael. That's why Joan Rivers is dead. She said it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
2 days later, she was dead.
Dead.
Yeah, Victoria's Secret is that all their models are men. Yup.
Mm-hmm. I'm
Look at
sorry.
Heidi Klum. I don't think that woman has ever aged. I wonder how much of that stuff she's drinking.
You really want to be shocked, you guys, is this is one of I really hate to say it, but this is one of my favorite pastimes. I'll be watching a movie or something on TV and I decide, this person doesn't seem like who they should be, what they're presenting. So I like to find pictures of them in bathing suits, particularly bikinis. And you'll find that most of the anatomy on these people are not what it's supposed to be forensically. And one of the most telltale signs is the Adonis belt. And it will blow your mind how many of these people have an Adonis belt that are not supposed to. And it's not even hiding it. So if you're ever curious, if you're ever questioning somebody, check them out in their bathing suit. And that even for the opposite, when you think they're a male and something doesn't seem right, I just go do some forensic digging and check out the bathing suit pictures.
Them bathing suit pictures will tell you things. They now have things that they actually put inside of the bottom portion of a bikini to try to keep the ones with extra parts to not look like they have extra parts.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a fake liner. Yeah, the tuck roll and hide Frank, they've actually got a device that goes in there now to try to make it mimic what a woman looks like. I saw a TikTok earlier. It said, that the first sin of Adam and Eve was a lie. What if the man told the lie and that's why they're stuck with an Adam's apple in their throat? See, see, history is always written by the winners. So what if from the beginning the winner was writing that Eve told the lie? Maybe it was Adam. We don't know.
Oh my
You
gosh,
you
though, but if you like how you mentioned the first ladies, I dare you guys. Please look up all of the first ladies.
look at
Look
them
at their
jaw lines,
pictures. Look at those
jawline, Adam's
pictures.
apple, shoulders. Hey, I got a
Oh.
set of shoulders on me. I mean, I'm not a big woman. I'm only like 5'5", but yeah,
Well,
it's whoa.
you can be a female or male and have one or two traits. That is a normal thing. But when you're talking like 4 to 5 of them, and I promise you, there is not one single birth woman or female on the planet that has an Adonis belt. It is not even humanly possible because the way we're designed. So, just that is like the biggest giveaway, but it's a lot harder to notice the other direction. That is a lot harder to discern, but it's there. It is there. There are
Yeah.
many of those who say they are male that
And
are not.
Lance, you really shouldn't be telling people you have one of those. Oh, Lance, you're killing me today, buddy. You're killing me. I look up and I read Lance's comment. He says, I have a plastic that I put in my underwear sometimes for fun. I don't know if everybody sees that comment, but I'm sitting here trying to be serious and I read that and I about lose it. Looking glass and
Oh,
corona visors. Something's going on, Kimberly. I don't know which one of our people go to the Ingersoll Lockwood website, but I visit it every day. It is a rabbit hole that I cannot leave alone because there are constantly links on there to government documents. And okay, if anybody don't know, There is a whole museum in Germany for Hitler's anti gravitational UFO spacecraft that he had built long before World War II ever got started. Hitler did
Interesting.
not die in Germany. That is a
No.
woman's skull.
Yep.
Hitler died in Argentina, South Argentina, in a jungle where his houses and stuff had already been built. He already had his escape plan. They already got the problem before they sell you the solution. When he started a
Mm-hmm.
war, he already had his rat line set out to get out of there. Hitler had two daughters in Argentina. The government of Argentina is now beginning to release declassified documents about him and all of his officers that were there. Hitler couldn't have given two squats about world domination. Hitler wanted to be in Antarctica. It's what New Schwabland was about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of things that go with that in our upside down world conversation we had the other day. I truly believe there is some type of Stargate energy device in Antarctica. Hitler made the comment that by the time people figure out who and what I was fighting for, it will be too late. History is written by the victors. Go back and look at the one they said was a monster and see what he was talking about. The pictures you see of people leaving Auschwitz wrapped up in blankets in these concentration camps. Okay,
They're
excuse me.
fake.
I know we can't stay on here, y'all. We've been on here almost 3 hours. Ingersoll. What is it called?
Ingersoll.
Ingersoll Lockwood. Ingersoll. Ingersoll Lockwood. LOCKWOOD.com. When you, as a matter of fact, hang on, we can do a presentation screen. Ain't like we've been here too long because nobody's complaining. So we'll go to
Wow,
Lockwood.
we are almost at 3 hours. Holy
Yeah,
shenanigans.
girl, we own it today. I'm telling you. All right, y'all. This is Ingersoll Lockwood. For anybody who has not seen me decode this site, um, I go here every day and check it. And I have actually, there's a Twitter page and a bunch of other things, but Shannon will tell you, I've been down this one for a while.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when you look at this website, there is nothing out of the ordinary. You don't see any links. See this egg right here? That is a link. What you don't see, when you click, highlight, and drag, you'll see up under the egg, there's a different link. But what you're not seeing is there's 20 links hidden right there in front of your face. So, the 1717 in Pennsylvania Avenue, that is a link. If you look down at the bottom left-hand portion where it says Roxy at, you will see the web address. It says whitehouse.gov backslash IL Ingersoll Lockwood equals 4-10-20. 4 is a D, 10 is a J, 20 is a T. Ingersoll Lockwood equals DJT. Lights on, green for go. Where we go one, we go all. That's what just the web address means, much less the link that it takes you to. As you come through, slowly scan your mouse over the writing. All right, see right there, the W in Washington lit up. When you click on that, that will take you to a song. All of the music on here is like a swing band kind of music. They are custom, they are not old, they are all new songs, and they all say something. I have listened to all of them. We ain't got 7 more hours to go down this rabbit hole. Right here behind the zip code, there's another hidden link. You don't see it unless you highlight it. But if you want something to go dig around and look at and entertain yourself, see the A in Americans is a link. Um, I know there are more links in here, many, many more. Okay, right there behind attack, under frequent attack, the period behind it, that is a report on the reason they locked us in our house. There's lots of them on here. Just be careful, take your time, scroll over them. There are multiple pages. There's lots of stuff to look at. A lot of times on here, you can do this and see right there, there's 2 links besides that Space Force link. Try not to take this from the fact that, "Oh, this is Space Force, that's a Trump thing." Just go look at the information that's on there. This is information that has been gotten through Freedom of Information Act. It's about Ingersoll Lockwood was a time traveler. He wrote a book about a little boy named Barron who lived on Fifth Avenue, who went through a stargate or a tunnel, travels and adventures of little Baron Trump and his wonderful dog Bugler, strange adventures of $1,000,000, wonderful deeds and doings of little giant Boab. These are books that this man supposedly wrote in the late 1800s, can't remember. But the things he talks about in those books from years and years ago line up now. There's one here that's very interesting to read. It's called Laconics of Cult. That is an interesting read. This one right here, it says Homework, Enoch. It's the book of Enoch. And there's notes on the top of it. Then there's some stuff about thorium. It is a clean green energy source. It's cleaner and cheaper than coal. It could run this country forever, but they're not going to tell you about it. Then it's about there's a non-toxic farming handbook, regenerative grower's guide, victory garden for bees because we need the bees to come back, a beginner's guide to heirloom farming. Not all the information on here is horrible, but wait, look, that page looked like it was empty, didn't it, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
What happens, folks, when you click and drag? Watch. It goes and goes and goes. This is a list of different things Trump has done since he's in office. The Twitter page has all kind of stuff on it. I mean, even the plus sign out here takes you to videos. It will take you weeks to dive down a lot of these things as to what they are. But it's there's a lot that, and Shannon and I have spent whole episodes just digging through one page of this stuff on here. It's crazy. So yes, I do believe there is some type of coronavirus or Operation Looking Glass. Everything on that website hints to it. There's one specific moment on, I think it was July 3rd or 4th, when we had the big parade for the Army. Trump comes out to make a speech. I don't know if you know or not, but Trump's favorite game is chess. When he comes out to make that speech, Melania is in a white suit. Melania always stands to his left. Most of the time she's on his left or his right. She's never behind or ahead. Usually she's got him by the arm, she's on his side. They come out, he turns his back, whispers in her ear. She steps from beside him to in front of him. That is a chess move. Queen protecting king. Immediately thereafter, a soldier comes and tells them he has folded up military style the American flag that hung over DC that day. So when the queen stepped in front of the king and protected him in this chess game, they took down the flag that hung over Washington, D.C. that day. There's more meaning there than we realize, but it's one of those things. Yeah, Operation Paperclip. We've just got to figure it all out. The only reason the Americans got involved in the war was because of technology and Operation Paperclip and scientists.
Well, they were funding things anyways in the beginning. What was it? The company IBM was the one who, created this system to put all of the people's codes in to keep track of the people who entered into these camps and things along those lines. And not to mention, of course, Hitler's obsession with Mr. Ford, who was part of the whole eugenics thing that started here in America.
Go look up people who founded NASA, who was friends with Wernher von Braun. That dude, his first name's Walt, and he's got that little place, multiple places with the little rat with the 2 black ears. And if you look at that place, their logo has a castle with a firmament above it. The thing that's on Warner von Braun's headstone tells you about the firmament above you. So why do we need NASA? Our tax dollars contribute $60 million, not a month, not a year, a day. NASA burns through 60 million tax dollars a day to go nowhere. You can't get off this rock, folks. They know it and we know it. You can't go out of it, you got to go under it. Our government, IRS tax is voluntary. That is not mandatory. It is a voluntary tax.
And you know, too, the day that income tax was legalized here or brought about was the day the Titanic sank.
Imagine that.
Imagine
Anybody
that.
ever looked in? Anybody ever looked into who was on that boat? Who didn't get on that
Exactly.
boat and was supposed to be on that boat? And that
Yep.
weren't even the boat they said it was. That was its sister ship. The
Yep. The
Titanic was still
Olympic,
sitting in harbor. The Olympic
which had
was
already
broke
been
down.
messed up.
It had already been messed up and the insurance weren't going to cover it. So they did a quick swap-a-rooney, put a bunch of rich people on the boat. They sunk the boat, collected the insurance, and killed the rich people in their way. And if you
And
don't think that
those
they won't do that on any average Tuesday, you are not awake.
and those rich people just happened to be the only rich people opposing the income tax.
Absolutely.
Which is,
Absolutely. Kind of like that flight 3, what was it, 87 that went missing?
oh yeah,
There just
the one
happened to
in
be
Malaysia.
16 of some of the smartest people in the world with some AI and data technology, and they were going to sign and defect to another country, and just blip, the whole plane goes missing out of the air. Well, how long do you think we'd had that technology to make that airplane disappear? About 100 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I can show you film from right now from 1939 that our military took of Hitler and his bell-shaped craft that could go from Antarctica to American soil within minutes. They can go from pole to pole within minutes. Where y'all think Elon's digging to?
Oh
Elon
yeah,
has
the
a company
underground.
called the Boring Company,
Yeah,
Boring.
the underground transportation that they have had for so long underground is insane. I worked with this amazing lady whose father actually worked in those underground bases, and she got to go in one once and saw the transportation for herself. And it is literal minutes to go from, I
One
mean,
to
maybe
another.
not, yeah, one end of the nation to the other. Easy. It's
And
done with
everybody thinks he's just,
magnetics.
yeah, magnetron, magna-levy. They don't want you to know about magnets. You can power your whole house with magnets.
And
Everything
this
can be
is
powered with magnets.
right. And this was in the 50s or 60s. I think early 60s, if not like 1960, that she was down there as a little girl checking this out. That was
Hmm.
a long time ago.
Go and look at some of the people, the children. They're adults now. But gosh, what is that guy's name? He's a YouTuber that we watch. He's not political, he's not any of this. He's just a guy that goes all over the country and checks out different places. You know what I mean? He's just a traveler. He gets in his motorhome and he goes to like Phoenix, Arizona, and he shows you around, gets up with a local, talks about like, what local trades are, the people are, things like that.
Not Richie from Boston, right? Or Jail Overlander or
No, I don't think so. He's
Jailbreaker.
on my subscriber list. I'll have to
Um,
go look at him. But he actually went out to where a lot of these German citizens from Operation Paperclip were brought to settle, and he actually runs into the granddaughter of one of the actual Germans that were brought over in Operation Paperclip. And
hmm.
they talk about it, and yeah, she's still there. She talks about how when she come over, they were put in a house and they had their own little school and they were kind of segregated for a few months. First off, these people that were brought over with Operation Paperclip, they were Nazis
Yeah.
all day long. There was no secret about what they were. That's why we got involved in the war. We wanted their brain power, and we wanted to know what Hitler knew. When anybody if you lived your life as a Nazi or as any other religious or political faction, that is an ingrained belief. If I take you as a prisoner of war, let's say right now, Shannon believes that, in her deepest of her bones, that whatever her belief is, we're just going to say belief ABC. If I go over and capture her as a prisoner of war and say, okay, the only way I'm going to let you live is if you come to work for me. And she's like, okay, I'll work for you. That still doesn't negate the fact that she is a firm to her bones ABC believer, correct? You cannot take these Nazi scientists from Operation Paperclip and bring them over here. I got Shannon, and think that it changed their ideals or their beliefs in any way. We put these people into some of the biggest and most secretive agencies within our government. And if anybody doesn't believe that that warp mentality didn't take a hold and take effect and affect us to this day, we're all crazy.
Well, again, I know I've mentioned this before, but we are all being programmed through these things. Some of us have had experiences more intensely than others, but every single person on this planet who has any access to media of any kind, you are in a program for mind control purposes. They are messing with everyone. And that's through the medical system too. That's through foods, it's through all of that. But we are all in a big experimentation. None of us are are safe from that.
No, and that was the reason for me telling you and Daniel to go watch that War of the Worlds movie.
Right.
Like I said, don't pay attention to it for its cinematic movie whatever. Pay attention to the data
The
centers and what they
content.
talk about the data centers in there.
Oh, I'm about to go watch this as soon as I pick my son up. So that's my. I'm like, I'm so curious now.
All right, guys. Well, we just hit 3 hours. I am out of saliva in my mouth. I am out of drink to drink. So I have to get up. And I got to go make sure my grandchildren have eaten. They're older, but I'm sure they've been in there vegging out on really bad junk food since they got home from school.
Yep.
So we actually, before our last 36 visitors leave, we have a very interesting contest slash competition coming up. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. It's exciting. It's one of the things Daniel and I worked up all weekend. So make sure to join
Yes.
us tomorrow afternoon. You gonna be with us tomorrow, Shannon, or you gotta work?
Hopefully, I will be with you guys tomorrow. But yeah, I'm curious. This is the first I'm hearing about this.
You
So
will
I'm.
you will get your inside information later and privately because I'm gonna
Woohoo.
let Daniel announce it. But it's exciting. It's gonna be fun. It's
Cool.
fun. That's what we're doing it for because we are like the last 33 people that are here. We're a family. We're all together all the time. If Dave does a show, I don't know if y'all follow Super Dave 44. If you don't, you should go look him up. Follow him right now. He's part of our team. So is Mike Smith and Miss
Yay.
Kim. We're a team. We're a network. It's the Supernatural Network.
The Supernatural Network.
We're a family and we're here for you guys and we're here to keep you informed and to have fun and we love y'all and y'all love us. So we're a family. That's the way this works. So Shannon and I will not be on tonight at 7 because we have probably well, we ain't run out of stuff to talk about, but y'all just probably tired of hearing us. So we will see you guys tomorrow. We hope you have a great evening. Want to say good night, Shannon?
Good night, and don't forget to come back to see what the supernatural is going on. All
Good
right.
night, guys. See you later.
Night.